What's up, everybody? It's your boy, the Liberal Loudmouth. And we are back again for some more Acciones. And here we go. Nikes. Give me just a second. I had this somewhere. Let's see. Where the fuck did I see it? Oh, God damn it. I guess I didn't send it to myself. Oh, it's in a bookmark, I think. It's in today's bookmark. It's delivered. No? What's up, guys? Give me just a second. I am... there we go. Found it. I thought I'd saved it, but apparently not. Anyway, what's up, guys? What's up? Let me share this shit out. We'll get this shit. Oh, God. That's really loud. Let me pop out this chat. Good morning, everybody. Morning, everybody. Well, I tried to pop out the chat. There we go. There we go. I fixed it. All right. Sorry, a little discombobulated, apparently. Turn this shit down. Liberal Loudmouth. There we go. Time to share. And if you're coming in, we're just getting started, so I haven't even really started yet. We are live. So go ahead and share it out. Start hitting that like button. No Epstein. I'm digging the name JEE Vacation. That's funny. What's up, Bunny? Good morning. And I don't know what lives you've been watching, but we've been covering the files here. There's TikTok videos, lots of coverage. But again, to what end? They're not going to do anything. They're not going to prosecute. It's just not going to happen. And then yesterday I did a video. He was a sixth grade teacher. He was 27, I believe. He got with this, she was either 18 or 19. She may have been 19. I know the title of the article said 19, but I thought she was 18. Either way, she had graduated, and then her and that teacher started to date and then had a sexual relationship within 2 months of them starting to date right after she graduated. He's facing up to 20 years, even though she wasn't a student and was an adult. He's facing up to 20 years in prison because in Nebraska, you have to wait 90 days and they only waited 60. You have to wait 90 days after graduation. When they engaged, 19 is the legal age in Nebraska? That's weird. Is that not weird? Because I know I think it's age of consent. I don't remember how they said it, but like until you were 21 in Mississippi, you couldn't sign any contracts. Age of something. I don't think it was consent, but it was something else. Either way, they will arrest and give 20 years to that guy who, is with an adult. I don't care what Nebraska says. 18's an adult. I mean, that's weird. And wasn't in school, and yet all of these child rapists are going to go on and see no charges. I don't get it. I don't get it. You're an adult in 19 in Nebraska. That is so weird. I've never heard that before. When did they change that? What is age of consent in Nebraska? And also, that's not what they were charging him with. Age of consent in Nebraska is 16 years old, is what I'm looking up here. A person 25 or older who engages in sexual penetration with a person 12 to 15 years old faces enhanced penalties. Let's see. Let me pull it up just so y'all can see what I'm reading here. And I mean, that's not really what today is about, but it showcases that the laws are not for them. It's for everybody else. So this is consent laws, Nebraska. How is consent defined? Without consent means the victim was compelled to submit. The victim needs only resist. The victim need not resist verbally. Freely given consent is able to consent. 16 years old. Any person who subjects another person to penetration when the actor is 19 years of age or older and the victim is at least 12, but less than 16 years of age is guilty of sexual assault in the first degree. Okay, so if the person is 19, getting with somebody between 12 and 16, that's sexual assault in Nebraska. Difference in age doesn't impact the victim's ability to consent. If the actor is 19 or older and the victim is at least 12 but less than 16, then the actor is guilty of sexual assault. And the actor in this case is the older person, another person. So between 12 and 18, consensual, let's see, elderly. Okay, so maybe let me ask it a different question. What is legal age of adulthood in Nebraska? 19 years old. Until this age, individuals are generally considered minors, though legal minority ends earlier if a person marries. Nebraska is one of only 3 states, along with Alabama and Mississippi, where the age of majority is not 18. Upon turning 19, individuals gain the full legal right to enter into contracts, sue, and be legally responsible for their actions. While 19 is the age of majority, other legal ages differ. Marriage. Individuals can marry with parental consent at 17 or 18, but need no consent at 19. A minor may be emancipated by marriage. That's crazy. In Nebraska, you're considered I don't know how I feel about that, because on one hand, that makes certainly more sense than 18, because let's face it, some of these 18-year-olds are, questionable whether they're adults or not. Anyway, hey, you learn something new every day. I was not aware. That's why you pay child support till 19. That is weird. I didn't know that there were, I wonder if there's any states that have 20. Are there any states where age of majority is 20? Let's see. No U.S. state sets the age of majority at 20. The vast majority set the age of majority at 18, with only 3 exceptions: Alabama, Nebraska at 19, and Mississippi at 21. Yeah, while 20 was historic. Now, they changed that recently. They changed that. So, because what was happening is, kids would graduate and they would have to get parental consent to rent a house or an apartment or anything up until they were 21. And so, a lot of parents were like abusing that, basically, and screwing their. Well, and so in that case, that changes things a little bit for that guy, but still, like, that's, I don't know, that's fucking, that's weird. I'll have to opine on that one for a while. But I mean, the law is the law, I guess. As a teacher, he should certainly know, especially when it comes to students. But 20 years seems a bit much. It's confusing, but 19 is age of consent. Yeah, that's wild. 18 and under is a child until you graduate in Pennsylvania. Yeah, I wasn't even aware that there was a difference from one state to the next. Now, to get going, I only brought this up because J.E. Vacation was talking about nobody's covering Epstein. Even though, we've been talking about it for a while, and they're not going to fucking do anything any goddamn way. I guess it's nice to know who to keep your fucking kids away from, and and to boycott. But other than that, you know, we're going to have to get somebody in there that is outside of all of that stuff. Like Joe Rogan was one of his guests. I can't remember his fucking name. He was trying to get Joe Rogan to meet Epstein. And he had told this story to Kyle Kulinski. Kyle Kulinski was talking about it on his show yesterday or the day before. And like he was really trying to get Joe Rogan to meet Epstein. And Joe Rogan was like, nah, man, you know, ain't going to do that. And there's email confirming this story that Joe Rogan told. But then you look and Joe Rogan has hosted a bunch of the Epstein people in the Epstein files that have had things to do with it on his show. And, you know, I don't think he knew, like Epstein's chef apparently was on Joe Rogan's podcast. So they were trying to get at him because they know how powerful Joe Rogan's voice was, especially then and not so much anymore. But, you know, they were trying to blackmail that dude. You know they were. Or at least that was the plan, I imagine. Now, what I wanted to talk about, and welcome up, APAC, was there something that you wanted to address that I've said before I move forward? Yeah, go ahead, man.
Yeah, about the Joe Rogan. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if individuals on the island ended up landing in his podcast because, I mean, his target audience, you know, tends to be, men, right? Tends to be men. And they tend to be, I don't want to say like macho men, because, you know, sometimes I listen like to him, but it's like that machismo kind of, you know, does gravitate towards him, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but that's just what I wanted to add to that. So that
Well, so macho men, like village people macho men, or
no, maybe I'm using like the wrong word.
No,
like I mean, like young, you know, young men. Or,
macho man. I want to be. That's what Joe Rogan sings every time he goes live. Before he goes live, I want to be a macho man, and he does Donald Trump's stupid fucking dance probably. But no, you're right. Yeah, I think that's a valid point. You know, who he interviews lends itself to that, especially, you know, in the sciences and arts and stuff. Comedians. Thank you for that. Who sent that? Let me see. Who's that? Bunny. Thank you for the DJ glasses. Are you trying to fill that? Because I think you have to send 5 DJ glasses to fill that gift gallery. Either way, I appreciate that. Now, what I was going to talk about today is this is something I've talked about before. And, you know, it's been months when Donald Trump first started his shenanigans. Is Trump purposely violating rights in order to break the courts? As I was just seeing this the other day, let me pull it up here. I had it. I hope I didn't accidentally remove it. Yeah, so I want to read something that a fucking prosecutor in the middle of court says to the judge. This is fucking wild, man. Here, let me get all my shit, all my ducks in a row. Surge in immigration cases in Minnesota pushes prosecutors and judges to the brink. So let me scroll down here. The system sucks. A prosecutor shared a moment of candor. Let me scroll in so everybody can see. Where the fuck was I? Yeah, prosecutor shared a moment of candor in responding to a judge's question on why the Justice Department had violated his orders to release people illegally detained in January in Minnesota. Oh, thank you, Bunny. Get that corgi sticking his ass right in my face, that little asshole. And thank you for the money gun. W Bunny, thank you, getting me started off right. This prosecutor said, and last night I had to stay up until 2:35 a.m. just to get these documents ready for you. Speaking to the judge, I can't say it's a waste of my time, but I could have sent so many more emails and get so many more people get ready to be released. And I am here with you, Your Honor. What do you want me to do? The system sucks. This job sucks. And I'm trying every breath that I have so that I can get you what you need. This is what a fucking prosecutor says to this judge who had ordered them to release these people. And these prosecutors that they're using are just completely overwhelmed, and the court systems are overwhelmed. And one of the aspects of martial law is basically the government, military taking over the courts. When the courts no longer function as they're supposed to, the governments will come in and, take over. And this is one of the aspects of martial law. Of course, it's just really a descriptor of varying policies that are happening at any moment. But like, I wonder if that's the purpose. Like, that's why they're violating rights so often, so that all of those cases get thrown into these courts and their workloads are just so heavy that they can't do anything about it. What say you, APAC?
I think so. I think what he's doing is he's throwing a lot at the courts on purpose, because I think his allies are saying just keep throwing as much as possible, and if it doesn't land, it doesn't land. But that's but is there any repercussions, for prosecuting and then not winning, right? So in his case, it doesn't seem like there is. So he's just going to bombard the courts with as many cases as possible to look for winning. Yeah.
Thank you, Kerry.
That's a good strategy.
Brought the dinosaurs back. Don't tell the Republicans, though, because the Earth is only 6,000 years old. Sorry, go ahead, APAC.
No. I mean, it's a strategy. You just bombard the courts, see what sticks, and then that way you end up getting some wins, even some surprising wins that you probably didn't think you would get. But you just inundate them with these. I don't think it's ethical. It's not ethical, but I think it's legal. So that's why he's doing it.
And see, that's fucking insane to me, because, and, I can't really, aside from Trump at some point being like, well, the courts aren't functioning anymore, we've got to go in and save them, and not asking Congress to allocate more money and hire more judges. No. That wouldn't be his solution. His solution would be to send in, fucking federal prosecutors or whatever to become interim judges or something. Like, because it's just building, and this is like a slow roasting of the country where, it's not all at once. It's just not working. It's just over time, it starts to break down and everybody becomes exhausted by it.
Oh, absolutely. And think about what happens when the courts are inundated. They make plea deals, right?
Yes.
They make deals, they compromise. And that way you don't need to go through the system. They're like, oh, look, we have so many cases, and this happens all the time. Why don't you want your way, I want my way. Maybe we'll meet in the middle. So they end up making movement that way towards, accomplishing their agenda.
Yeah, and, because I've been thinking about it, and I wonder how much of everything that he does is related to just winning in the midterms. Like, from day one, that's what was on his mind, is making sure that he's going to win in the midterms. And if the courts are so fucking saturated with bullshit cases and all these, this backlog of cases, maybe that will work in his favor when it comes to him being sued for the shit he's about to do. Like what Steve Bannon said, which is put fucking ICE agents at the fucking polling places, although I think he'll use the military. Maybe that's the strategy, is to break the fucking courts so that none of those cases can go through in a timely manner, and he can just say, oh, look, we found fraud, or something happened, there's fraud, and because the courts are so slow, by the time it works itself out in court, people will have already forgotten and moved on to the next person he shot in the fucking face, or whatever the case is. Because, like, I feel like he's going to do that from the information he got from Fulton County when he stole the voter records, because to me, that's what he did. He doesn't even need to prove it to his base for sure. He'll just say, oh, we've got these records, and look, there are these missing ballots, or there are these fraudulent ballots, even though they could just stuff them in there themselves at this point, because I don't trust them to not do that. Yeah. It's just about creating doubt. I don't know.
And I'll tell you, as you know, as someone who has, you know, my family has been divided by by Trump in a way that it's bad. I had a family member almost drive over another family member over it. Let's put it that way. It's
At
really bad.
Thanksgiving?
um, Before Thanksgiving. so, um, but I will say this. I mean, I agree with you. But even if he just wins over his base I think is trading around like 30, like a third. So he has to win over independents, and I think that's where the economic strategy comes into play. If he can't get those interest rates down so that people can refinance their homes, or if he can't get the housing prices down or do something, either in housing or or healthcare, then he's not going to win over independents, and he's screwed. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, and then because this interview, and I don't know if you guys seen this or not, but let me play this. This was posted, I think, yesterday. Let's listen to this jackass.
Will you trust the results of the midterms if Republicans lose control of Congress?
I will if the elections are honest. Look, I want the last one that wants to complain. I just had a great election. They say one.
The last one that wants to complain, bitch, that's all you do is complain. What the fuck is this guy talking about? Jesus, Lord.
One of the greatest elections, you will agree, ever. Won all 7 swing states.
Oh, my
Won
God.
84% of the counties in America. That's why the map is all red. We just had a great election. I believe there was cheating. I think there was cheating.
Well, speaking of counties, what are you doing in Fulton County?
Too big to rig.
Too big to rig. And I mean, now they're just coming out because he wants to nationalize it. He wants to. I wonder if just everything he does is for the sole purpose of stealing this shit. Oh, there we go. I love that one. That's actually my favorite gift there. Thank you. Who was that? Jesse? Was that Jesse? Let's see. Yeah, Jesse. Thank you. A shout out to Jesse. Lonnie, welcome in. Did you want to weigh in on this? What are your thoughts?
Well, yeah, because I mean, if we didn't already know, Trump was taught to never admit fault, right? And so he's never going to say that he messed up in any way, shape, or form, right? So that's why his first resort in something that he's accused of doing is to sue, right? He runs to the court. He's on the courthouse steps before the court doors even open. Like he will continue to sue, and he will continue to drag it out, just like he did with those contractors in New York, right? To the point where people are so exhausted and overwhelmed and broke that they cannot continue, and he will win by default. Because with him, winning is winning, no matter how he gets it. So yes, I believe that he knew that people were going to overwhelm the courts. He's overwhelming the courts.
And you think that's purposeful? I mean, I know that he's doing it, but do you believe that that is his strategy, like long-term strategy?
Yes, because I think he ultimately wants to abolish the government as we know it. Like his whole plan has been to get rid of government as we know it, because you and I have talked before about what technocracy was supposed to look like. And within that, they didn't want the government for what we know it as today. And the only way he can do that is if he abolishes Congress, he abolishes the court system. He doesn't want those things because those things hinder him from being the dictator that he wants to be.
He's a dictator.
Right. And that's why I feel like he's doing what he's doing. It's strategy, yes, because his end goal is to oversee everything. That's why when these companies like US Steel go to sell, he makes it so that he can have a golden share and he can make a personal profit. And when I say he, I mean him and his companies can have a personal profit in these companies. So that way his name is rattled through everything, and he is going to continue to make money off of the deals that he's doing. Um, but the courts are slowing him down. So he needs to get rid of them, especially when it comes to the American people using it to against him.
Yeah, I mean, It is crazy what we're seeing, and I don't know. I'm just his lawfare shit. Like Congress is going to need to put some like guardrails there, because if you can't sue the president in civil court for civil violations or whatever, which makes sense because you get a president bogged down and shit, he can't do his job. They shouldn't be allowed to sue people either. Not in the way that he's been doing, like going after news agencies and shit. He shouldn't be able to do that. Crazy.
Because you see how with Don Lemon, for instance, they went to different courts and they got denied.
Right.
Because
right.
they were like, no,
and then landed on the grand jury. Right.
Right. And so they kept going and going until the grand jury did something. And then the grand jury did something and the court was still like, what? No. And then what do? They go and appeal it. Like they appeal. Was it Don Lemon? They appealed it and the higher court was like, why are you asking us to appeal the magistrate court? Like no one's ever asked us to appeal a magistrate court. I'm not sure if that was Don Lemon or not, but there was a case where they did something to somebody and the magistrate court said no, and then they tried to appeal the magistrate court's no, and the higher court automatically kicked it back down to the magistrate court. So that's what they do, you know what I mean? Like they're going to get their way because they're not going to admit fault whatsoever. Just like you got JD Vance sitting up there and they was like, so if it comes out that Freddie was human rights were violated, then
I think they already said that because like JD Vance wouldn't apologize. Is that what you're talking about? The JD Vance video? That's fucking crazy to me.
He did all that skirting around the answer like they all do.
It's so
and that's
it was a bad look for him. Like I thought he was a little quicker than that, but he had nothing. He had nothing for that. It looked pretty bad. Now, speaking to that, because we were talking about the Don Lemon case, here's somebody who did something similar, and maybe y'all can tell me if there's a difference between these two issues. I just did a video about it. Let me pull this up here. This is Valentina Gomez. She's running for House District 31 in Texas. She actually got kicked out of the Republican Party events because she's just an asshole, but here she is in a church.
It's like Romans 1:32, homosexuality is a sin, and whoever supports that is worthy of death. You're not a pastor, you're a satanic pedophile church. Leave your pride behind, get on your knees, and follow Jesus Christ. Ask God for forgiveness. Follow Jesus Christ. He's the way, the truth, and the life. Do not use his name in vain, because that's exactly what this church is doing. He's using his name in vain. This church is an abomination. All of you are an abomination.
Like, where's Pam Bondi on this one, huh? Jesus.
Well, that's crazy work to me in a whole lot of avenues. Because yes, one, that's not what Don Lemon did. Don Lemon said out his own mouth that he waited for that organization group to go in there and disrupt it first. He poked his head in the door. He saw it was disrupted. He flagged his producers and said, all right, they disrupted it. We can go in and report now. He said that out his own mouth. That's what he did. He didn't. Well,
he was in there whenever they started.
He didn't do what she did. The group he followed did what she did, right? And I already said it. Yes, if that's the case, if they did that, then they need to be prosecuted to the highest level of the law, right? Because what is it? The FACE Act says that you shouldn't disrupt churches and AB clinics, because in the 90s they were doing all types of stuff. They were booming churches and AB clinics and all types of stuff. And that's why
they were chaining themselves and blocking access to the abortion clinics is why that came to be. Yeah.
Right. I also want to say, like, the hypocrisy is crazy, because we have, the frequent flyers on your panel that justify what she did while condemning Don Lemon for what he did.
In the comments.
You can't see the clear difference.
Yeah, did you see Benjamin's comment on that video?
No,
yeah,
I
he was
didn't
in the
see
comments. He was like, "Oh, this isn't the same." I'm like, oh, okay, Ben. All right, Ben. Whatever, Ben. Yeah,
and
no,
that's what's crazy about it. Like I said yesterday.
Oh, here he is. I knew he would show up.
We can't even come to commonality and say what she did was disruptive. So she should be charged with the FACE Act, just like those
What's up, buddy?
that went in
What's
there
up, Ben?
should
Yeah, I
be
mean,
charged
hey,
with the FACE Act.
what's good for the
Don
goose?
Lemon shouldn't be. You know what I mean? Like, that's my point. Like, leave Don Lemon out. If you're going after the leader of that group, that woman pastor that went in there and disrupted that church, then go after her. But leave Don Lemon out, because he didn't go in there and disrupt it. He went in there and watched her. Yeah. But that's journalism to a degree, right? Like, get the story. But yeah, he didn't do what that congresswoman or soon to be congresswoman did. That's crazy.
Yep. Agreed. Now, Benjamin, give me a second, because Dina and Scissor haven't spoken yet. So let me move on to them real quick. Dina, go ahead.
Hey, thanks for having me up. Listen,
good
Lonnie,
to see you
I
again.
agree with, it's good to see you. Lonnie, I agree with you, and I followed you. Everything you said is absolutely correct. I just want to say one thing, guys. I'm not sure our country's going to endure another 6 months. Seriously.
Thank you, APAC.
After the way that they literally gutted the Washington Post. I mean, we're talking about major institutions falling to this monster. And as far as anybody that supports Trump, hey, you bring them up, they start spewing off, I can't do it. I don't engage with fascists, period. But this is a sad, sad day. And just, God, everybody get out, vote. Anybody you know that's able to vote, vote, because that's the only way we're going to get these bastards out. As long as the Republican Duma is in place, nothing will change. They must be removed. End of story. That's all I have. Liberal, if you want to go ahead and drop me, and it's great to see you. It's a beautiful day, and I'm going to enjoy.
All right. Well, I appreciate you being here. We'll see you, Dina. Give me a second. I'm resetting my gifting goal here. So, and thank you, APAC, for filling that. I appreciate it.
Dina. Before we move to Scissors, I'll say this, Dina, protect your peace. Protect your peace and enjoy your day. And thank you for the follow and the gifts. I appreciate it.
All right,
Bye-bye,
Scissors.
you too.
Scissors, welcome in. And for the record, Dina, you can always drop yourself. Holy shit, APAC, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, you can always drop yourself, but I'll go ahead and, oh, well, there she goes. I was going to drop her, but Scissor, go ahead, man.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? I recognize a lot of the same faces here. So I guess kind of just add on to what Dina said, I definitely hear where she's coming from. Things are seemingly kind of grim right now. But, I also want to remind people, too, that, at times like these, it motivates the better angels within people to come out and shine light upon the darkness. And the night is always darkest just before the dawn. So hold on to hope.
Yeah. I mean, if we get bogged down in stress, it can cause you to freeze up and not act properly. You're right, Scissor. We got to, I don't know, be pissed, but we still have to do work.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's, why the reason why I'm so upset is because I love this country, and I want to see it, make it to the other side of whatever this period of time will come to be known in the history books.
Thank you, Benjamin. Yeah, fucking A. Now, did you have more? Otherwise, I'll get to Benjamin since I brought his name up.
Well, the only other thing I'll mention is that thing I tried to send you yesterday. I screwed up and I created a group with just myself, and that's what I sent it to instead of you. So I did send it to, I think, both your primaries at TikTok and your alt as a YouTube video. So if you ever get a chance to check it out, I definitely recommend it.
Okay, will do. Yeah, it's probably in my request box, maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
And it is safe for TikTok and safe for live.
I still don't see it.
Really?
Yeah. You said it's under Scissor? It's under Scissor?
Yeah. Scissor-O, yeah.
Nope.
Hey, Lynn.
What's up, Lonnie? What's up?
I was just going to ask about the group chat. That's all I want to say. And Scissor, that was it.
What about the group chat?
If we could add him to the group chat.
Oh, well, he can only go to one probably. You have to be a certain fan level to get to the other one. That's just
Oh,
how
okay.
TikTok does the other one.
Okay, I think that's the one I'm in, the one with the group level.
Yeah, I don't. I'll mess with it later. Just
no
send
worries.
me a reminder. Somebody send me a reminder because I'm sure I'll forget. Yeah, but that's fine. Anyway, Benjamin, what's up, man? So I see that you disagree with, characterizing her as disrupting the church. Ben? Oh, thank you, APEC. Benjamin, I can't. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes,
Okay.
I can hear you.
Benjamin, I can't hear you. If you're talking, nobody hears you. And I'll
Big
have to
Ben.
but you aren't muted, so I don't know what's going on.
Benjamin got that MAGA Wi-Fi. It don't like to work sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I don't even see any bars on his profile. Anyway, well, I don't know. It's crazy. We only have 40 people in here, though. With all the gifting and stuff, they're punishing me. It's because I don't like Israel, I think. Anyway, I don't know. So, Scissor, did you hear earlier when we were talking about, this prompt here, him purposely trying to break the courts by just flooding it with bullshit? Do you think that is part of his strategy, is to overload the courts so that they don't function properly?
Absolutely. I mean, it's just the easiest way you can jam up the courts, because without the courts, there's nothing else to basically enforce immigration other than ICE.
So do you think there's a strategy there when it comes to the election?
As far as the election goes, I'm still kind of waiting and seeing what he's trying to do. I mean, we already have, some people trying to say, well, like Steve Bannon saying that ICE needs to be at polling places. And, we'll see how that comes out. I'm not sure how states are going to react to that because, I mean, I'm not saying they can make any argument, but I guess the only argument they can maybe attempt to make is that arresting U.S. citizens on the streets for interfering with their duties or whatnot is somehow, keeping them from doing their jobs. But there is no way can they make the case that being at polling places is them doing their jobs. I mean, election enforcement is so outside their, lane of duties that hopefully the states will have some legs and some, cojones to actually do something to oppose it.
Yeah, and they are arresting U.S. citizens. And I saw the story this morning. It was posted yesterday afternoon. This U.S. citizen, he didn't have any papers on him. He had an accent. He was a person of color, and so they made him come with them. They drove him miles and miles away, and like an hour and a half later, I guess they realized he's a U.S. citizen, even though he and everybody else was telling them that he was a U.S. citizen, and they just drop his ass off miles away from where he was at.
Mm-hmm. And also, I think that one lady testified at Congress too. The U.S. citizen who was trying to get to her neurologist appointment ended up coming upon some kind of ICE action, and they were shouting all kinds of conflicting commands to her, and they ended up breaking her window and dragging her out of her car and detaining her for a day or two before they eventually dropped her off in the hospital. But her testimony to Congress about it is pretty gripping. I mean, basically abducted her off the street, didn't charge her, held her for a day or two before finally realizing, oh crap, we need to get her to a hospital because she is disabled.
Yeah, the fact that
can y'all hear me by chance?
Yes, we can hear you, Benjamin. Okay, go ahead. So you, I think, were disagreeing with me in the comments of that video.
Yeah, basically, I mean, I roll with you on most at this point, and I know you do a lot of homework, and I don't think people understand how much work you put into this because I see you on, and I know you're just, getting all this info for the show, and I know there's a lot of work, so I'm glad to see a lot of people are doing gifts this morning, and that's really cool to see.
And thank you all
the video
for that.
now. The video now, I just don't get it. You're missing this one. She walks in, sits down, stands up, says a few things, not yelling, not irate, kind of doesn't even interrupt the service. The pastor keeps preaching, and she gets kind of, motioned out, walks out, no problem, and that's the end of it. That's not the same as 30 plus people, how many ever people, with a news anchor, all set up to come in there to disrupt, shut down the church, block parents from getting their kids, having people run out the side door, slipping, breaking their bones on ice, whatever. It's just not the same. So
I'm sorry, but that was the
what
funniest
do you mean,
part.
Lonnie? Come on, Lonnie. Come on, Lonnie.
That was one
Don't
of the
do that
funniest
to me
parts
now.
of the video when I saw those people. It was like
it was.
one runs out, floop, and then another one comes out, floop.
But in that moment, Tim, in all seriousness, because I know that you don't want to see anybody hurt, I don't want to see anybody hurt. Could you imagine, with all that's gone on in churches over the last few years? I don't know what I would, if there was a mob that came in the church, I would be shitting my pants, because you don't know what they got in their pants, what their intentions are. Imagine some women and men too, but their kids are there. I mean, what the hell would you expect? I would probably faint with fear. Like, what's going on? Like, we're fixing to lose our lives.
So
almost as scary as mom outside a clinic.
So we heard the characterization of the video. Let's play the video again, just so everybody can see what was said and what happened. Here we go.
I would say Romans 1:32, homosexuality is a sin, and whoever supports that is worthy of death. You're not a pastor, you're a groomer, satanic pedophile church. Leave your pride behind, get on your knees, and follow Jesus Christ. Ask God for forgiveness. Follow Jesus Christ. He's the way, the truth, and the life. Do not use his name in vain, because that's exactly what this church is doing. He's using.
So she interrupts what's going on to say that you are worthy of death, that you are a P3DO and a groomer, and she's saying this out of turn. Nobody asked her to speak. That is a disruption. And they start singing, in my opinion, to drown her out because she's, acting a fool inside of a church.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's okay, so here we go. Technically, it's a disruption. And if they have to face charges, then maybe she has to too. I just think that wasn't maybe your best example of, but maybe it is. I mean, because what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I mean, you're right.
Here's the difference, I think. That with the protesters who were with Don Lemon, is they were taking a civil position against a pastor who was known to be cooperating and working with ICE, versus what she was doing, which was to take a theological position against what they were doing in the church. And I think that's the biggest difference.
I mean, but, the methods, it's generally the same, although the other one's crowd was larger. But it's still a disruption. And she's calling these people P3DOs and groomers and stuff and saying they're worthy of death. I don't know. That's wild work. And
now
that isn't
disruption means to disrupt something, right? So they both, the group in Minneapolis and her, disrupted the service, right? That's a disruption. Right. Whether you're loud about it, whether you're quiet about it, it's still a disruption. So they both violated the FACE Act, right? They both did. No one did. No one's saying that the group in Minneapolis did not disrupt or violate the FACE Act. What we're saying is that Don Lemon and the reporters who did not go in when the disruption happened should not be looped into the charges. That's the disconnect that
except for the night before that he
that's not my point. My point has nothing to do with Don Lemon. My point is that if you're going to go around and make a stink about this stuff, instead of, if you're not leaving when we tell you to leave, now you're trespassing. But instead, they chose a very specific act that had nothing to do with its creation, had nothing to do with churches, really, to charge them. And so if they're going to do that, they need to be consistent and do it every time. But they're not going to.
And that's what
it's
I'm
a double
saying,
standard.
Right? that was my point in what I was saying, right? It's a double standard because Ben is basing it off of how many people disrupted. She had a cameraman with her because she wasn't holding the phone. So there was at least 2 people with her, while that group might have went in with a bunch of different people, while Don Lemon heard about the flyer because if you went to his channel, he explains it, and so did the lady. She put out a flyer, said, if you want to protest, meet me here. You'll get the details later. Don called and said, what's this protest about? Can you give me information? She said, not until you get here because I don't want nobody to stop us. So he showed up to the location and she said, okay, this is what we're doing. This is where we're going. He said he waited outside. They walked in. He poked his head in. He saw the service was disrupted already. Then he went in and started doing interviews. Okay. So she said the same thing, right? So therefore, she admitted to disrupting the service, right? So yes, charge her and her people for disrupting the service, right?
Or charge none of them.
Also charge this one.
Or charge none of them.
Or charge none of them, right? Or charge whoever. Like, what's good for the goose needs to be good for the gander. And that's the disconnect, Ben. You're trying to justify the fact that this was one person, she's a congressperson, to this group of people who both went in and did very similar things like Scissor said, right? If we change the words on what the congresswoman, alleged congressperson said, they said the similar thing. And that's my point.
This isn't going to happen, though.
Yeah. What's not going to happen, Sam? If you don't mind me calling you Sam.
No, that's fine. This isn't going to happen for 2 reasons. One, she is saying exactly what Donald Trump and MAGA feel. Secondly, Donald Trump doesn't like Don Lemon. And Don Lemon is a professional journalist. He wasn't disrupting the peace. He was in there for a specific reason, covering what was happening already established inside that church. This woman in this church disrupted the service with no provocation. No one else was disrupting the service. She was. She is not a professional journalist, although she may think she is because she had a cameraman. But she is doing exactly what Donald Trump and MAGA wants. They don't believe in abortion. They don't believe in, the things that she's preaching about. So that's why she won't get in trouble. It's the same lie that I came on here a week ago and I told you that Preddy was not someone who was out there protesting. He was going to the donut shop that he goes to every single morning and got caught up in the wrong place at the wrong time. He claiming that these are all paid
I would
agitators.
say that.
That is exactly what he was doing. It has been confirmed. That is not a lie. He was literally going to the donut shop. He saw a woman get pushed to the ground by ICE. He attempted to help her and then get sprayed with mace.
When he kicked the car, was he getting donuts that day too? When he kicked the car, the taillight out, was he just getting donuts?
That still don't justify unaliving in the street.
Are you talking about?
No, it doesn't. But I don't want her to put out the idea that he just happened to be there at the right time, right place.
I'm going to tell you
like
this.
Twice, right?
The week before that, and when he did go to an actual protest, he got broken ribs. This particular event that he went to, he had nothing to do with the protest. He was legitimately going in. The donut shop even confirmed he comes in every single morning. He was not there to disrupt the peace. He was not there to interfere with ICE's activity until they dropped a woman to the ground. So. And that sparked enough.
Just one. They pushed 2 women and he saw that.
And he got maced, and then we also know what happened after that. And the administration knows that this doesn't look good. And they wouldn't send Bavino back to his job in California. And they wouldn't put
I don't think anybody's arguing that it doesn't look good. I mean, it's definitely not a good look. I mean, I think that's felt across both sides.
But the fact is that man was not doing anything wrong. He was not even protesting. He was not screaming at ICE. He had his cell phone in his hand. Now, I know Newsmax likes to make that look like a weapon, but it's not.
So yeah,
nobody's saying he had a weapon in his hand either.
Yeah, I mean,
Newsmax
Benjamin
did.
acknowledges that it's wrong. I assume, yeah, Benjamin, that his,
I don't think he should have been,
But you're saying, but what Benjamin is saying is that he went there for the purpose of protest, and that is a.
No, I'm saying that he didn't just go to get. He wasn't there at the same place twice. It don't happen now. I'm sorry. I mean, I'll ride with the whole, most, but I'll also call it out when it's bullshit. And he wasn't just there all of a sudden. Maybe he was getting donuts while he was there for the protest, but he didn't just show up and get donuts.
Here's the thing. I don't give a shit if he was there as a protester or not. That's irrelevant to me.
It really is, honestly.
Well,
I was just
because
saying.
if he was there as a
irrelevant.
protester, then they shot a protester. If he was there getting donuts, they shot somebody getting donuts.
It may be irrelevant to you guys, but Kristi Noem is spinning this narrative, and this is a narrative that's out there, that this is a paid agitator who came there on this specific reason for this
But
specific
that's not
reason.
true. We know that that's not
and
true.
that's why I'm trying to say that's not what he was there for. The narrative needs to be correct.
Okay, so there is reporting that there were signal chats that the reporters, the people that follow ICE around and report on where they are, they were following ICE that day and tracked them to the donut shop. So now whether Alex was part of that or not, I don't know. But there is now signal messages that during the investigation they found out they were tracking ICE and had tracked them to that donut shop.
ICE had been in front of that donut shop, if I'm not correct me, but they had been in front of that donut shop for more than an hour prior to Alex even showing up there. And him defending two women that get pushed to the ground, whether you want to say that he wasn't there to get donuts or not, I think we beat this dead horse forever, that it shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't have happened to Renee Good. Greg Bavino is sitting in California now because of that. And I think that this administration, if at all, is at least recognizing for at least once in their life that was a huge mistake on their part.
Samantha, I will agree that the Peretti thing was a lot far, but it's crazy how everybody threw Renee to the wayside once the Peretti thing happened, because they're like, oh, cool, now this is like, a for sure thing. And everybody just kind of threw it to the wayside.
No,
and I'm like, so you're one of the
threw-
few that I hear that actually still thinks that hers was.
Nobody threw Renee Good at
Oh,
his
yeah.
side. It's
Oh,
just
you should have
that
seen it.
it's
It was
just
like,
that-
huh, Renee who? Renee who?
Wait. Benjamin.
Every single day. That's
Benjamin,
why it changes.
hold on. Okay, hold on
Every
real quick.
day.
Hold on real quick. Benjamin, who said cool when it came to Renee Good and then Peretti, and who said, oh, look at this, or whatever it was you just said? Who said that?
Nobody in particular that said cool, but the whole feeling that I could see, which was kind of amazing to me, was it was all Renee until Peretti happened, and that one was a lot easier to call. What is that? Who is that saying that? Scott? But you could tell that everybody was like, okay, well, we'll give up on Renee because she actually did try to run him over.
Please let me respond
But
to
Freddie
that.
was a good one for y'all to latch on to, which I agree. He
No,
should
please
be
let me
interviewed.
respond.
None of this is
But
good.
don't forget about Renee,
No,
too. No, I
Ben.
don't think it is either.
Ben,
But-
none of this
Please
is
let me
good.
respond to that.
And none of this is good.
Can I
don't
respond
know.
to that?
Can I say two words?
Sure. I'm sorry. go ahead.
And for the record, Benjamin, you got a lot of background noise. I think it's you. No, it may be Holly. Yes, Holly. My God, you've got some insane background noise. We got a couple of people who haven't spoken yet, but Sam, you'd like to go, so go ahead and respond. Then I got to get to Scott and Holly. Go ahead, Sam.
The reason why you think Renee Good's been tossed aside is because ICE is killing people every single day, so a new name comes up every single day. The news cycle is less than 12 hours anymore with the shit that goes on. That's why Renee Good's name is still out there, but maybe not to as much as Alex Peretti because he's the most recent. But it doesn't negate the fact that people still are talking about Renee Good.
Yeah. Yeah, now, Scott, I think you got here before Holly, so please go ahead, Scott.
Hey, pal. Tim, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. Doing all right.
Good. So, I wanted to bring up something else, and I will in a minute. But I just want to say to these people who kind of talk about Renee and kind of talk about the other gentleman. Sorry,
Alex.
Alex, thank you. These are human effing beings. Nobody's forgetting them. Nobody's, we're always going to remember these folks because they're human beings. And for anybody to come in anybody's life and just say, "Oh, nobody cares about this person," and you really need to give your head a shake. But anyway, that's okay. Whatever. You can think what you want. We know what the actual truth is, that we care about human beings. MAGA, if you didn't listen to your moron this morning, spewing the garbage that he was spewing at the church breakfast, where, he was supposed to probably, as the president of the United States, go and talk about God and talk about Jesus Christ and bring up, why you're there and what it's all about and so on and so forth. But oh no, what did he do? He talked about how his election was stolen. He talked about him. Nothing about anything else about how great he's doing, how wonderful he is, and so on and so forth. And how he wants to kill the media and because they're all corrupt and all this BS at a goddamn church breakfast. Let me tell you something, MAGA. If you I want to say that word, but I won't. If you effing people can't wake up and see what this freaking moron is about, it's unflippin' real. Today, to me, was the most disgusting pile of shit I have ever heard. I'll land my plane at that. Thanks, Tim.
All right, thank you, Scott. Yeah, Holly, go ahead. You do have bars now, but go ahead, please.
Do I sound better now? The background, I shut off the Bluetooth.
Yes, much better. Still some background noise, but
Okay,
it's much better.
Okay. I was in an Uber a minute ago. So in this Uber a minute ago, I was listening to NPR, National Public Radio, and they were talking about how Trump and his lawyers and the administration are trying to turn over the 1985 Flores law that it didn't go through until the 1990s, that protects the children and teenagers being held in ICE and that they have access to, school, room to move around, decent, non-jail-like conditions. Because, as you know, these children didn't choose to come here and do all this. And he was already denied, so now they're trying to expedite it through the courts a second time to get it passed. And the answer is because it's a new administration and they're already doing what they need to do for the kids. If they overturn this law, there will be no time limit on how long these children and how long these teenagers are held in the detention centers, and there will be nobody checking in on the conditions to see how these children and teenagers are being held. So I'd love a MAGA to tell me why exactly they think that's a good idea.
The Flores agreement?
I silenced the panel.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. It's the Flores law, yeah. It was started in the 80s, and it was put into place in 1997.
Okay. Well, I kept seeing your hand up in the comment section. I thought you were going to weigh in on what we were talking about, but, I mean, we can go to the Flores agreement if you guys would like. Are you guys familiar with that?
I thought ICE was the subject. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to change your panel up. I apologize.
Well, no, I mean, it's fine. I just, I thought you were going to respond to, like, Benjamin's characterization of the video but
I can.
That's fine.
I can answer that, too.
Well, I mean, you already said your piece. Does anybody know anything about the Flores agreement?
I don't
It was put in place in 1997.
Yeah, it was started in the 80s and put into place in 97. Believe me, this is a newer subject.
Can I say this about it? Can I say this about
sure.
the whole and that kind of sums up this whole thing. I get that Trump has, the Senate and the House and all the above. The administration does. I freaking get it. But at what point does Congress stand up and say, F you, we're stopping everything, putting a pause on all your bullshit? They're not. Because either he's legally able to do whatever the hell he wants to, and they know it's not worth their time because it's just going to be all for nothing, or they're too much of a bunch of pussies to not do anything, and so it's just wasting our time dealing with it. So let him do whatever he wants to, right? Because nobody's going to freaking stand up. Everybody wants to chime in, and not everybody, I'm talking about the powerful people want to chime in, because we obviously can't do shit down here, right? We've all found out that it's them against us or us against them. But why aren't we yelling at our people, whoever that may be in your area, and raising hell at them, saying, are you just going to be punked out every which way? I mean, nobody is doing shit.
Articles
I mean,
of
jack
impeachment
shit.
have
Hold on a
been
minute.
passed.
I
Hold on
hear
a
you,
minute.
but what's impeachment? Just
Hold on a
saying,
minute.
we impeached you.
It's
No,
nothing.
I mean,
Well,
I'm
you
just
can-
talking about full impeachment.
You can.
I'd love to respond to that.
Well, you can
but-
impeach and remove. Are you
Right,
talking
that
about
would be the
doing
only
something
actual-
to stop Trump? Is that what you're referring
Well,
to?
I mean, I
doing
feel
something
like-
to stop Trump?
Yeah, maybe like stop, like saying, okay, no more, like, well, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, stop Trump if he's the issue, and apparently he's the issue right now. So for
He's
us
not.
to just talk
So-
shit all day, every day, and
He's
nothing
not
get
the
done.
issue.
So, Ben.
Well,
wait,
but
he's
these
not.
conversations, though, Ben, are very important in order to get people to understand.
No, they are.
Like, for example, a lot of people have probably never heard of the Flores Agreement. It was this girl.
I haven't.
She was young, but the U.S. treated her like she was a criminal, treated her like shit, strip searched her. They wouldn't send her over to like an adult. And so after, I don't know how long the fucking court case went on, but it was for quite a while. And the U.S. government agreed that they would stop treating children, they would treat children differently than they would adults. And now we've got this fucking piece of dog shit. Let me pull this up. This is, if I can get to it. They're basically like, this signals to me, and I am glad that Holly brought it up. It was just, we weren't talking about that at the moment. Hold on, I've got it fucking somewhere. I just had oh, here we go. Okay, it's underneath this other video. This lady, they're like taking these children, right? And then if you get rid of the Flores Agreement, there's no telling what they will do to these kids, right? And that is
There'll
a
be
fucking
no
problem,
oversight.
especially since
Elizabeth Zuna.
a lot of the people in the administration right now are tied up in the fucking Epstein files, and we know what they did to children then. So I don't trust a single one of these bastards to do anything. But listen to what this lady is saying.
That morning, I was asked to help locate a fourth grade student, Elizabeth Zuna. I met her father, Luis, in the hallway, and he told me that Elizabeth and her mother had been taken by ICE that morning on her way to school. Elizabeth was able to call her dad, and an ICE agent said they were going to bring her to school. Several staff members, including myself, waited outside the school building for a vehicle to approach and drop her off. No one ever came. That morning turned into hours of phone calls, desperately trying to locate a child. We did everything we could to keep Elizabeth's father calm and allowed him to remain at school as we searched for answers. By that afternoon, we had learned that Elizabeth and her mother were already taken to Texas. In my profession, I have seen many people break down in grief, but the image of Elizabeth's father will stay with me forever. I watched him sit in his car, bury his head in his hands, and cry uncontrollably. And those are images you do not forget.
That's Tracy Zhang, a social worker at Highland Elementary in Columbia Heights. That is the same school district that Liam Conejo Ramos goes to. She says Elizabeth and her mother are still detained in Texas. She spoke about them during a press conference.
They're literally just trafficking these people. Notice they left the dad.
Yep.
They take the mother and the child and they leave the goddamn dad. And so, like, I don't know what you expect people to do, Benjamin, and I'm pissed off too. And I feel like we should do more. But, aside from awareness, I'm not sure what all else to do.
I need to say this. I don't mean to say that conversation is just like it's all for nothing. I've learned everything I know about politics here because I kind of didn't know much, to be quite honest with y'all, and I think that's all right to say. But I guess I'm more fed up than any. I guess I'm fed up more than anything in the fact that knowing that if it was anybody else, meaning us, we would be hemmed up and probably hung on a tree somewhere. But because it's them, they are fucking untouchable, and we can do nothing about it. And every day there's something new that we can't do shit about, and we're reading it and watching it and know about it and see it and breathe it and eat it, and we can't do jack shit about it.
But if I may,
Benjamin, you're asking people to go out and do things, and people are dying because they are out there doing things.
But if I may, just
Scott,
one real.
Let me bring in the timer so we can get around the room.
Was it not very long ago that a certain party stood up and said no more, and basically shut the government down from. I remember that. It wasn't very long ago. And what I also remember is that how the right went nuts, saying that the Democrats shut down business and the Democrats did this, and the Democrats did this. It's all their fault, even though we didn't have the House, the Senate, and all this stuff. But they stood up and they said no more, right? Correct? And they tried, and it was shut down.
And they gave up.
So, whoa, hang on a sec, Ben. Here's the deal. Stop fucking blaming the Democrats because they did what they had to do. The problem was the conservatives didn't give a shit. The Republicans go, no, we're just going to continue to fucking blame the Democrats. And that's the problem that I've got. They have no balls and the Democrat have huge balls. That's the difference. Thanks.
Well, Scott, I got to say, I expect nothing less from Republicans than what they're doing right now. I expect nothing less. So I cannot lobby a Republican. You can try. It's not going to work. Donald Trump has them by the balls. Whether they have any or not, I don't know.
So fucking lying.
So the criticism to the Democrats is fair because they're the last vestiges of hope. They're the only thing that we have standing in between us and this fascistic shit. And when they give up, as Ben said, it's infuriating because then your own side isn't doing enough. Yeah. Just like Ben is talking about being pissed off. Right now, they should shut the fucking country down right now.
100%.
They should just shut it down, fuck your funding, but they didn't. They fucking, gave them the money, and then Alex gets shot, and now they're like, well, we're going to change. Like, they just shot somebody else before you guys, funded the fucking thing. And then now that he gets shot, and then you're like, oh, well, that was a woman. He was a man. Like, is that what I don't get it. But so, yes, I'm going to criticize the fuck out of Democrats because every fucking tool in their toolbox needs to be used right now, whatever it is. That's where I'm at with it. Yeah, Lonnie, go ahead.
Midterms. So this is what has me baffled, right? And I said this many times, right? We know the Democrats are not perfect. We know that, being on the left, right? And we can hold them accountable. We do that, right? But the question to Benjamin is, how many times since this man has been elected have you reached out to your local person, all right, your local government official who was siding with the BS and said, I don't like this? Because I promise you, I did it multiple times because my county representative in my state is Republican. And I reached out to him and I sent him many a phone calls and many a letters about the BS that was happening between the time he got elected and today, saying how I didn't like the things that they were doing, right? So I did that, right? So you up here now mad about the fact that you feel like people aren't doing enough, right? But you just sat up here in the past 4 weeks excusing the behaviors of the people who are being mistreated for doing everything they're supposed to be doing, right? These people are following the law, and you're bad now telling us we need to do more.
Yes, Lonnie,
it's crazy.
Yeah, please, let's try to stick to the timer if you get one. If you hear Howard Dean screaming to the high heavens, that means to wrap it up. But thank you, no, Lonnie.
If that was the timer or if that was Benjamin trying to overtalk me. I'm sorry.
No, that was
sorry,
the timer.
Lonnie. I honestly, I
Go ahead, Ben.
No, I didn't mean to overtalk you. I appreciate what you're saying, and no, I haven't to answer your question, and maybe I need to look into that. I'm, again, learning, and that's more than I need to learn about. I mean, I'll say this. Unfortunately, I don't think it'll do jack shit. However, if we all have that mindset, it'll never do jack shit, so maybe I have to change my way of thinking and make some phone calls and bust out the old computer and type away on it, however, and learn how to do this type of shit, because I don't know it. So that's why I'm here learning too. I mean, I wish those phone calls did a lot more than they do, but I mean, I feel like, unfortunately, they get into position telling us what we want to hear, but most of the time they don't do jack shit other than make their salary and go about their day 9 to 5 like everybody else does. But yeah, I'll look into it.
Okay, well, to that point, I'm going to put a link in the chat. This will help you find all of the contact information for all of the people that represent you. I think this is the good one. I'll have to test it to see, but there you go. Just remove the capital DOTs and put in the dots. Put your address in there, and then it'll tell you. One of them shows every fucking, even like county commissioners and shit. It'll show them all. So I don't know if that's that one, but you can just Google it and you'll be able to find one. Now with that,
I'm getting loaded, Tim. I'm going to go on mute, but it should take 20 minutes.
Sure, I appreciate it. Let me get to Ferry and then Jay Deere. Ferry, go ahead. Or was Jay here first? I don't remember.
I don't remember either. But if Jay wants to go first, he certainly can.
Jay?
Yeah, I'm fine with going first.
Go ahead, man.
I want to start off with introductions. It's a pleasure to meet y'all. My name is Jay Deere. I am 34 years old. I am a red, white, and blue-blooded American who voted for Donald J. Trump, and I do not regret my vote whatsoever. It seems we're talking about what happened in Minneapolis. It is a tragedy that what happened to that there Alex Preddy guy, but with all due respect, at the same time, our party has been telling the Democratic Party that organizations such as ICE and CBP, which have been expanded in power under Democratic administrations as well, is a huge fucking problem.
Okay, so you're saying that the Democrats have told Democrats that CBP and ICE are a problem?
I'm telling you, our party, the Republican Party, the same party that years prior to Trump even being elected was the party of let's not do government overreach.
Oh, I see. And then now they're doing government overreach, is your point?
You can make a justification that there was necessity in, for example, the expansion of expedited removal under the Immigration Act of 1996 by Trump. We did have a huge influx of immigrants coming into the country. That doesn't make it right whatsoever, however, just like it doesn't make it right when in 2002 there was an expansion that included 100 miles of the fucking border.
Right, which to me is horseshit, but yeah, the extrajudicial rights of Border Patrol agents and stuff, yeah. I'm still not sure I understand your point, but maybe I missed something in there. Like, are you?
My basic point is, sir, I'm trying to say that you can absolutely call out government overreach, but don't pretend that the government overreach wasn't happening within your party as well. That's the only point I'm making.
Oh, sure. No, yeah, I acknowledge that for sure. Yeah, and the Democrats, during the Obama years, you said you were a Republican?
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
So Democrats during the Obama years, they were out there protesting his ass too. I mean, those, the kids in cages, that whole thing was like an Obama era deal that Trump then, continued. But Democrats had a problem with that too.
That wasn't the only thing that Obama did. We can't forget there was also the Patriot Act and Obama going after journalists.
Well, the Patriot Act was brought to us under George Bush, but he certainly continued and then expanded it under the National Defense Authorization Act, for sure, as did Trump. Like, they all did, because you give the government an inch, and they're like, oh, well, I'm taking the fucking mile, because that's what I do. And they're never going to relinquish their power. That's why you don't give it to them in the first place.
I would say relative
agree.
to what Trump has done with the Patriot Act, Obama has done far worse. I don't see any particular abuse within the Trump administration as it pertains to the Patriot Act.
I see. Has your prescription changed for your glasses?
Jesus.
Because man, I understand what you're saying. These abuses have happened in the past. It doesn't make it right at any point, does it? Jay, would you say it's not right whether somebody does it then or now?
Relative to the Patriot Act, I have yet to see anything tremendous or worth calling out on the Trump administration's part.
Okay, well, the Palantir, you familiar with that? You familiar with Palantir? We can just go down the list, because now under Donald Trump, he has put tech bros as generals in the military. Just here you go. The executives from these tech companies. He has surrounded himself with people who openly want more surveillance, and not just surveillance like Patriot Act, FISA court surveillance, but literally every social media post, every text message, every phone call, every camera that exists in America, they want analyzed in real time through AI. And that's where all of these data centers are now popping up. Donald Trump surrounded himself with these billionaires that are really pushing this stuff. And I mean, these people have come out and said that that's what they want, including Peter Thiel. So when you say that you're not seeing it, that doesn't mean it's not happening, and it may not be in the way that you think it is, because at least before there was some semblance of a guardrail in place in the Patriot Act with FISA courts and this and that, whatever, and we were at war at the time. We're not at war now. He's continuing that shit and ramping it up and expanding it. Now they're currently able to analyze in real time and then spit out alerts for 8 billion social media posts and points of, interest per day. Yeah, that's what they're able to do now. So it's, this is a wild ride we're on, and we shouldn't downplay what's happening now because some jackass in the past did it too. And that's kind of what you're doing. You're dismissing the devastation that we're about to see when everybody's surveilled no matter where they go, what they do. When you downplay it by saying, well, yeah, but, your party did it too, right? That's very dismissive, and I don't think it's helpful.
Oh, wait, hold on. Is my mic working? Okay, there we go. You can go down the route of Palantir. That's fine. But then I can just go down the route of Google and Facebook and George Soros. But we both consider these things to be conspiracy theories, and they're like taboo topics that we don't want to talk about, correct?
No, Palantir isn't a conspiracy. Neither is Google. Those are things that are actually happening. Yes. The difference, let me tell you what the difference is. Google prior to this did it themselves as a private organization. Palantir is doing it for the government. The government, the taxpayer, is literally paying a tech company now to surveil us. Whereas Google did it before because they could sell you shit. Now, that apparatus grew and the government finds use in that. And I'm not saying that Google isn't being adopted into the government, but that is not a conspiracy, sir. Neither is the Palantir stuff. I mean, it's all out there. These are facts.
I don't deny them as facts. The reason why I made the point is to draw out that both of our parties have critique these two things as though they are things that we should not talk about. So, for example, when it came to the Twittergate files, no one wanted to say that there wasn't an inch of truth within that. Or, for example, when we're talking about Facebook mass censoring people for their opinions, we wanted to treat that as though that was taboo too. But these are real things that happen. First Amendment violations do happen in real fucking time.
Okay, so First Amendment violation is when the government does something to you, not when a private company does something to you, right? And when the government asks a private company, and I have a problem with this too, and I did at the time, when with Biden and all that stuff, when the government asks a private company for this information outside of a warrant, and the private company gives it to them, I have a fucking problem with that. They shouldn't be allowed to do that, right? But that's different from the U.S. government threatening and strong arming those private organizations to give them that stuff.
I'm just trying to be good faith here, but to say that the government did not have any part in the private company's decision is absolutely insane here. But I'm just willing to grant that because fuck it.
Yeah, well, under Biden, I mean, we know what the communications were. All that stuff came out. They asked them to censor certain things. They didn't demand it. They didn't threaten them. But Trump is doing that.
If you're gonna admit this now, then what's the difference here? You're trying to establish that there's a difference when you say one is a private company and one is government funded, I guess. And then now you're saying, well, hold on, there was government influence in the other one.
Okay, so you don't see the difference between the government saying, if you don't give me this stuff, I'm going to do XYZ to harm you. And the government saying, hey, can you do this for us because we think it's bad? And that company either saying yes or no. You don't see the difference?
I'm sorry, just establish that one more time for me, because it seems as though we're coming to a fundamental disagreement here. So what I'm promoting to you is that it doesn't matter if it's Palantir or if it's Google or if it's Facebook or if it's Twitter or if it's even fucking Snapchat for the Gen Zers out there. If there is a company that is being influenced by the government to restrict what you can and cannot say, that is government overreach.
Okay, now that wasn't my argument. I already said that I had a problem with it too. I don't like it either. But there is a difference between somebody saying, hey, can you give me a cup of sugar? Because I need it for a cake that I'm making. Versus, give me a cup of sugar. If you don't, I'm going to burn your house down. There is a substantial difference between those two things. But I mean, I think everybody can agree there's a big difference between those two. Now, it's been me and you talking for a while, so let me get around the panel. Who would like to jump in on this? If you have anything you'd like to say or add, go ahead.
Can I have a timer for a sec?
Yes, is that Sam?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Sam.
Okay, Jay, I know you said that you voted for Trump and you're happy with your vote and you don't regret it. And in that situation, I really just can't figure out where you are with your brain on that. What's happening in this country is a disaster. We are a disaster on the world stage. But to the prompt that you have up there about, is he using the courts and flooding them? I think he's doing that, but also look at what he's doing to the polls. He's bringing ICE agents to the polls, and he had the FBI raid a polling station. He's doing that because he is fearful of what the midterms will mean, because he knows the midterms, with his approval ratings and with what ICE is doing, he's in trouble. And if those seats flip in the House and the Senate, if they flip, I don't have any doubt that the articles of impeachment could mean impeachment and removal at some point. Also, on the issue of being okay with what you think Donald Trump is doing that is so great, I question what he promised you besides destruction and division and hate, what you think he is actually doing benefiting any of us.
Now, to be fair, I'm not sure Jay said that he thought what Trump was doing was great, but maybe I didn't hear it.
Yes, he did. Yeah,
did he say that?
Yes,
Can I have the timer, please, since this is all directed towards me?
Yeah, well, I think you and Ben are the only opposition, so if there's something that you guys would like to respond to, feel free, and I'll let you respond after everybody, because, otherwise it's not fair. So go ahead, Jay.
All right, I'll wait until the timer starts. I want to be...
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Okay, there we go. So I said I do not regret my vote, and I do not regret it. The reason why I do not regret it is because all the things that we can absolutely make valid critiques for were being hid under Democratic administrations, and Trump is now doing it out in the public where we can have these fucking conversations and we can get back to some common sense. That is why I do not regret my vote. Now, you asked me what I think that he's doing that is so great. Well, if I can be very clear about this without any interruptions whatsoever, because I do have the timer. When he says prioritize America, most of the foreign policy that he's committed to right now is beneficial for America. And I think we'd all be in agreement on that one.
No, we wouldn't.
Not.
Well, hold on. You got 15 seconds left. Did you want to wrap that up, or are you good, Jay?
I mean, later on we could probably talk about taxes, but I think we should take it one topic at a time.
Sure. All right, thanks, man. Who would like to go next? So Sam went last time.
Love to.
Me.
Okay, Scott jumped in there first. Let me go to Scott, and then Holly, I'll come to you after. Go ahead, Scott. Yeah, go ahead, man.
You got it. Okay, Jay, with all due respect, F you. F you for voting in this bonehead. And I'm
God
sorry,
bless you,
sir. I have the timer now. Thank you. The glasses that you must wear must belong to Stevie Wonder. Because I tell you what, this country is so fucking divided. I've never seen this country as bad as it is right now. And this all comes from the Orange Oompa Loompa. And there's no doubt about that the racism that is in his heart and in his brain that is causing the hate towards so many different communities makes me sad as a human being. What he's done, getting his own police with ICE and so on and so forth. I mean, I don't give a what you just said was a pile of shit, because I haven't seen a goddamn thing on my paycheck that has changed. So if you want to talk about foreign policies and all this other BS, where they all think we're idiots, yeah, good try.
Nice job.
Can I say something on that? Can I rebut on that real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
I'm still not done loading, but I just real quickly, I'm kind of listening in and out. But with that being said, Scott, I'm definitely independent these days. I was MAGA all the way. I have a feeling Jay actually bleeds red, blue, and white. I mean, I feel like he actually does. But it's like, I lost my train of thought here. Okay. What I wanted to say was, do y'all feel like everybody went after Trump so hard that we're kind of getting I mean, y'all pushed a businessman into a corner over the last 4 years of raiding his house and throwing him in court every other day, to the point that he is in retribution mode, and he's going to go after anybody and everybody, and he's going to make life pure hell, because his life is the same either way. He's a billionaire. Nothing's going to happen to him. It's very clear that nothing can be done to him. So I'm almost wondering if we poked the bear too much, and now we have to live with these 4 years and like kind of like, well, shit, we kind of pushed him in there. Maybe we should have left it alone.
He earned every
You can't
single
commit
bit
crimes
of it.
then. Don't commit fucking so many crimes.
Apparently, though, he didn't commit these crimes yesterday.
Whoa, hold on, guys. Okay, so I was going to go to Holly after Scott. So, Holly, go ahead.
I just had a quick question. Did Ferry get a chance to talk yet?
Well, I'm going to get to Ferry, and then who's the other one? Brian here in just a second. So go ahead, Holly.
I'm going to talk fast.
Also, too, after they're done, if I can have a minute to respond to Scott.
Yes,
sure. You took 5 of my seconds. So anyhow, first of all, what I'm going to say is he doesn't regret his vote. Right now, the dollar is the weakest that it's been since 2022, the middle of COVID, because he has a 67% negative global rating, because other countries feel that we are unstable. So they're no longer willing to invest in the dollar. So they're buying up gold. And right now, we have such weakened allies that they're all going behind our backs, and not including America, to make deals amongst each other to exclude the United States and buying our products. If Trump is about American first, then maybe him and stupid fucking Ivanka should stop sending all their products for cheap labor overseas and then bringing it back to the United States, because he could keep all those fucking jobs right here in the country, but he doesn't because he's a cheap piece of shit. And if he didn't commit so many fucking crimes, no offense, Benjamin, maybe we wouldn't have to go after him. 19 charity frauds, 34 felonies, and a civil SA. We didn't poke the fucking bear. The bear's a fucking criminal, no offense.
Okay.
All right. Now, I think Jay wanted to go.
2 seconds. Just 2 seconds.
Quickly, because I got to go to Jay.
Yeah, 2 seconds. The only thing I say about that is he hasn't started committing these crimes as of yesterday. So if that was true, then he should have been dealt with 20 plus years ago.
Okay.
Some of them are not that old, and he tied them up in court.
Yeah,
he
but
kept
here's
delaying the court.
Rich people almost never go to jail, guys, and when they do, it's like club fed jail, right? So there's rules for them, and then there's rules for us, and they are not the same rules.
That's why I wonder if we should have
left them alone. We're not operating. No, fuck that shit. No, absolutely not. Jay, go ahead, and then I'm going to go to Jay, and then I'm going to get to Ferry and Brian to get you guys in also. Go ahead, Jay.
Hold on. I don't know if that's fair because Ferry was waiting. I'd rather her and Brian go first, and then I go last.
Well, that was nice.
Yeah, go ahead, Ferry.
I don't understand why they don't regret the vote.
Me either.
He's a criminal. Do you not understand? He lied about the size of his properties to get bigger loans and then lied again to get a better tax break. That's fraud. And he is all over the files. And possibly I've been getting so tagged, I'm afraid to say stuff, but they unalived children, multiple, which in any other, the FBI, you know what they would call someone who unalived multiple people, and we have one of those in running our country, potentially. That's nuts. If you have women in your life, number one, you should not have voted for him. Or people of color. Sorry, I just don't know what to say because I've been getting so tagged.
Okay. Now, Jay or Ben, did you want to respond to that? If not, I'm going to get to Brian. All right, Brian, go ahead.
Yeah, go to Brian.
No, it's okay. Let Jay respond. I think it'd be fair.
Jay, go ahead.
Yeah, so earlier on, Scott had said F you to me, which God bless you, by the way. May God have mercy on your soul. I can absolutely affirm that in both of Trump's administrations, we have seen some benefit within our economy. I don't know where exactly you want to take the road, but one of the things I could probably mention is how we replaced NAFTA with the USMCA, which not only brought in $1.8 trillion annually, but it also helped to boost the manufacturing and automotive industries. We could probably talk in regards to foreign policy about the India-Pakistan shit. These are two nuclear powers, and he managed to have an immediate ceasefire between them. We could probably talk about Netanyahu and how the Democrats weren't willing, even though they said, oh, we're pro-Palestinian, they weren't willing to prosecute Netanyahu for any crimes. And it seems as though Trump is the only one who, while it's not much, is doing something to hold him accountable.
Hold on 1 second. I swear I'll be really fast. Jay, we're in a K-shaped economy. If you understand K-shaped, we're in a K-shaped economy. That is not a booming economy. In his first term, he bankrupted farmers. He is turning around and doing that again and having to bail them out. Once again, we are not putting America first. We went and captured a leader of a foreign country. We have bombed boats that we can't even prove or even smuggling narcotics that weren't even coming to the U.S. And that's in this term alone. He has been in the pedo files, and all MAGA wanted was those Epstein files released. Now they're not. They're not being released, and not in a timely fashion. And they're not doing it to protect the witnesses. They're doing it to protect, or the victims, they're doing it to protect him. So when you talk about economy, K-shaped. And he's horrible when it comes to diplomatic relations. Horrible. There isn't an allied country that we have that isn't pissed at us.
Okay. Brian, go ahead.
So I actually came out earlier to it because you guys were talking about how the frustration of the Democratic Party, and I don't mind getting back into that, but I wanted to respond to these things. I think it's ridiculous to claim that Trump is trying to hold Benjamin Netanyahu accountable. That is laughable. They're literally they're basically
I haven't stopped
buddy.
laughing.
They're buddy. They're like best friends. Are you serious? Literally, during the election campaign, he said that he wanted Netanyahu to finish the job. That's crazy. But to go back to foreign policy, majority of the country opposes what he's doing. He's literally escalating all conflict, which he did in his first term. But Americans they don't have a good memory. But yeah, it's ridiculous. And to go back and forth with the Democrats did this, the Republicans did that. We could be here all night. We're talking about right now and how the country feels right now. And to say that ICE, which was signed by President Bush, and that was basically pushed by Republicans and Democrats. But again, a Republican president signed into law ICE. I think that's disingenuous and dishonest to say that you guys have been trying to stop this. So that's funny.
Okay. Ben or Jay, did you want to respond? I think Jay said he'll be back. So let me get to, I think Scissor hasn't spoken, and I think you're the last one. Scissor, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I just definitely have to take issue with the idea that he has done so many great things for foreign policy when, he has basically done a lot to dismantle the greatest counterweight to Russo-Muscovy aggression in the world, which is the NATO alliance. I mean, we used to enjoy the unfettered trust of the entire international community, and that trust has been absolutely shattered in 1 year's time. I mean, when you have countries like Canada saying that they can no longer rely on a shared defensive posture in North America, and when Europe is now contemplating that they have to actually, consider their own defense needs in a world where they can't rely on America, that's putting us quite literally on an island that may take us a very long time to get off of.
Yeah. 20 seconds. You good?
Okay, I'm back. Sorry.
I relinquished the last 20 seconds. I land my plane.
All right. Jay, I don't know. Did you hear any of what was said while you were gone?
No, I had to go do something. I apologize.
Okay. No, you're fine. Benjamin, did you want to respond to anything, rebut anything anybody said? I think Benjamin may be loading as well. Okay, well, with that, guys, let's keep tapping the screen. Let's get to 50,000 likes as soon as we can. We'll just do a quick PSA. I'm looking for 11 more. I don't know what the hell that is. Round ball with the air track. I don't know. Looking for 50 of them. I need 11 more. So if you want to support the show, send me some gifts. I've got my Crash App and Venmo on my profile. You can support the live that way as well. $LibLoudMouth and @LibLoudMouth, respectively. Jay, let me go ahead and just start with you since you're technically opposition. If you want to make another statement, I know you didn't hear the ones before, but you're welcome to go ahead and start us off again.
Can I actually, I don't mind repeating myself if that's okay.
Who is that?
Me, Brian.
Brian. Oh yeah, Brian. Go ahead. Yeah, you can do that. That's fine.
Since he didn't say he didn't hear anything. So again, you claim that he tried to hold he's trying to hold Benjamin Netanyahu accountable. That's false. I would like to see proof of that because again, he's actually been giving him more leeway to destroy Gaza. Foreign policy, again, he's escalating every conflict that he inherited, just like he did in his first term. He's destabilizing countries while you guys complain about immigration. And one thing I forgot to add as well is that I think it was Benjamin that, well, that's some type of rich white guy privilege shit that, maybe we shouldn't have we should have left them alone. Are you serious? This is the same administration that's going after people who've been here decades and all they're doing is just working an under the table job while contributing to the economy. That's ridiculous. And yeah, I think I'm forgetting all the things else I had to say, but yeah, that's just ridiculous that you would even say that.
Okay. Yeah, and to that point, actually, because you brought that up about immigrants, let me pull up this article that I saw. They released a report. I think it was the Cato Institute. Immigrants delivered 14.5 trillion surplus to U.S. economy over the last 30 years. 14.5 trillion. And in fact, the study found that every immigrant costs far less than every U.S. citizen to the country. I mean, just by the numbers, and usually bring in more money than they cost. So there's that. You know, the claim that they're sucking us dry and taking this and that or whatever is not actually accurate. So let me get to Jay. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, when it comes to holding Benjamin Netanyahu accountable, I already agree on this premise. We should hold him accountable. And I think that Trump has been doing said things. For example, in October, he warned Israel that if they continue to expand upon the West Bank, they could lose all U.S. support. This was a consistent talking point of his, that he wanted to stop funding Israel so much fucking money so that way they could terrorize the Middle East. He also was very hard on Iran because he understands that Iran is a funder of the proxy groups which also fucking terrorize Israel.
Okay. You have 20 seconds left?
I think I made it very concise.
Okay. Anybody want to go next? I don't know. I'll say the notion that he is holding Benjamin Netanyahu accountable is weird. You know, I mean, there's just no indication that that's true. None whatsoever. And in fact, I would argue that the United States has become a proxy country for Israel, not the other way around. I think when they tell us to do something, we do it. I think both parties have been taken by them, and that's where we are. That's why you got Schumer up there. We're going to give them as much money as we can because we're going to defend Israel. While simultaneously, well, we can't find the subsidies for your health insurance to make sure that you can afford shit. So your premiums are going to go skyrocketing. So much for America first. But by God, we got money for Israel. Fucking crazy. Holding
and we got money.
Netanyahu
We have money to go capture a leader of another country, but we don't have money for medical insurance for our people.
Can I say this? Yeah. Oh, sorry, Ferry. Sorry, I didn't
You're okay. You're okay. You're okay.
Go ahead, Ben. Unless Ferry, were you not done? If Ferry wasn't done, I'll give Ferry a timer.
No, it doesn't matter. I was just agreeing with you about how we have money to spend everywhere else, but no money to help our poor here.
Actually, I tell you what. Let's open it up for open discussion for 15 minutes. How about we do that? Y'all just try to be respectful with each other. And I got to step away for just a second. I'm listening, though. So go ahead, guys.
I would like to say one thing real quick.
Okay. Well, go ahead, Samantha.
Real quick. We do realize that Charlie Kirk's whole entire Turning Point USA is funded by Israel. That's a known fact, number one. And number two, when it comes down to America First, we have sent it. There was just a congressional hearing talking about how much money was given to ICE, and the bonuses. If they gave a bonus to every single ICE agent, it would be $40,000. You can look it up. $40,000. We don't even pay teachers that much money in a year, and that's what we're giving ICE agents to do what they're doing. So when you say you don't regret your vote or you think what Trump is doing is great and it's for America, he's not doing anything for America. He's doing what Trump wants for himself. He's making billions of dollars on a new freaking hat that says America again or whatever it says. I mean, I don't understand where you MAGA people are or Trump supporters are in this. We didn't go after a man who wasn't guilty of crimes. We went after a man who was. And you still voted him back in. So I don't know what it would take.
Can I say
okay, so
it's a bad idea.
My thing is with the whole money, like him giving everybody else money, I agree. I don't know why we give anybody money if we have homeless people here, especially homeless veterans. We shouldn't send out $1 to any other country until we are 100% good here. That being said, it's crazy how when Biden was in office, we had to send money to USAID and all these places, and oh God, he's cutting off all the money, the sources for. But now he sends out money, and it's a huge issue. Why are we sending all this money out to all these other countries? Quit being hypocrites. Seriously,
One was for
like
war.
y'all want to.
I want to say this.
Well, let me point out, Benjamin, because you brought up USAID. USAID was our version of the soft power that we see China using right now, like helping build people and helping, make sure that people don't unalive from diseases and shit.
Correct.
That's what that was for. That was we're not going to attack you and take you over to get you to do what we want. We're going to give you goodwill in exchange for you to do some behavioral changes or, whatever. That's what China is engaged in, and it's more effective than through fear. So there is a purpose in that. Now, I do largely agree that if we can't take care of our own people, why the fuck are we giving money to anybody else? It doesn't make any sense, no matter who the president is. But I just wanted to point out what the purpose of USAID actually was supposed to be for. But I think Lonnie also wanted to jump in there. So go ahead, Lonnie.
Yeah, Tim, I just need you to help me out real quick because, my memory sometimes escapes me. But I think it was Jay that brought up the trade deal between us and Canada. Not Canada, Mexico.
The USMCA?
Yeah, and from my understanding, he dismantled it.
He created it.
Pretty much
No, ma'am.
re-brought it back for exactly what it was to a degree. So he didn't really change anything per se.
No,
he
ma'am.
just pretty much put his name on it. Is that what I'm supposed to ascertain from that information?
No, in his first
no,
term,
ma'am.
he
Can I
created
explain
the
this to her?
MCA.
Okay,
No, Jay. I want Lib to explain it to me.
Well, so there are changes. It is essentially NAFTA 2.0. You're not wrong. There are changes to it. For example, it went from, I think it was like 60-some% of cars in America had to be sourced with parts from America. They raised that up to 70 or 75%. I can't remember. They also required a certain minimum wage for car manufacturers. I think it was like $16 they raised it to. So there are some things that did change, but it was kind of fringe stuff. The majority of NAFTA actually stayed in place. It just was rebranded, renamed, and added a few things here and there. It wasn't like
he made it sound like Trump did this miraculous thing by changing it, and things got 1,000 times better. When, like I said, I was under the similar impression that there were small changes done, but relatively it was the same agreement. He just pretty much wanted to slap his name on it, and
No, ma'am, that's not true.
like he did something special.
there were beneficial parts to the USMCA, certainly. Yeah, it wasn't, like the most terrible thing in the world, but just to say it overhauled our entire trade policies and stuff is, I think, a mischaracterization. But let's let Jay, since he's the opposition.
I have a question for you. I have a question
Sure.
real quick before he goes. The USMCA in Donald Trump's first term, he's the one that created the trade deal with USMCA in his first term. So in his second term, he's just redefining the rules of the term of the agreement he initiated to begin with, correct?
Yes, largely speaking, yes. Okay. Which is funny, but I'm not even sure that there were tariffs necessarily, except for on specific type products, which is understandable. We've always used tariffs to protect certain industries. But Jay, please go ahead.
Can I go after Jay?
Well, sure. It's open discussion right now. I just, since
Jay
Jay's
waiting,
opposition.
So I want to be polite.
Yes, no, that's fine. Go ahead, Jay, and then Holly.
So when it comes to what I said earlier, NAFTA was the original agreement that we had with Mexico and Canada. The key figures in the timeline are going to be Ronald Reagan, who proposed the concept in the 1980s, building on the U.S.-Canada Free Trade Agreement, George W. Bush, who began the formal negotiations as well as signing the initial NAFTA agreement in 1992, Brian Mulroney from Canada, and Carlos Salinas from Mexico, with Bill Clinton on the side just adding little fucking agreements of labor and environment. Now, there were absolutely things that were fucking disgusting with this bill that made it to where those two countries could take advantage of us in terms of trade. Trump, when he came into office, replaced NAFTA with the USMCA, excuse me, and I would make the argument that it was an overhaul of what we already had. For example, we can talk about the fact that as a result of the USMCA, more farmers had access to dairy products like eggs and milk from Canada.
Okay.
That's all I have to say. I don't know if anyone wants to respond to
Yeah,
that.
I mean, so right, but he still had to bail out the farmers in the first term and the second term. So the things he's doing, is harmful to farmers.
The USMCA though, that would be with the trade war with China and the targeted tariff that he did on agriculture.
Sure, but it's like you're like, what this did was beneficial to the farmers who got fucked over by the same guy that did the thing that was beneficial to the farmer. You know what I'm saying? Like, if the net outcome is bad, pointing to one thing that isn't terrible is, I don't know, not seeing the whole picture, I guess.
I won't deny he did a bailout. I think the bailout was somewhere between 12 billion and 16 billion, but this only pertains again to the trade war with China, and that was specifically for farmers who were growing soybeans. Farming is not just soybeans. I hope we recognize that.
Yes, we know that. We're not stupid.
Tell farmers that, because I saw this interview on CNN. It was a soybean farmer was pissed. He almost lost his shirt, and they at the last minute got bailed out by Trump. And he, thank God for that. The man votes for him again, and then gets on CNN and is bitching about Donald Trump and what he's doing with his farm. It's like, bro, you're still growing the same shit that that he fucked you over with last time, and you're surprised that he's doing it again? And said he'd still vote for the guy. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, so again, you can say that there was a problem with the soybean shit, but that doesn't negate the benefits of the
like dairy,
the USMCA.
Yeah, the United States has been sucking off the dairy farmers for a very long time now. The government cheese, you guys remember the government cheese? That was because we were just, no matter how much milk that you produce, we will pay you more than what it's worth. And so the government ended up trying to figure out, well, all this shit's going bad. That's why they came out with those fucking got milk commercials and all that stuff. That's why they're doing it, because they had so much milk they didn't know what to do with. And these dairy farmers were making fucking money hand over fist. So when we're like, let's make it good for dairy farmers, I'm like, fuck those people. They've been raping us for a long time now. They really have. So they ended up using it and turning it into cheese so that they could store it. And it would sit and mold in the storage. And that was where the government cheese came from. That's why they kept telling you, oh, it's great for you. Milk and cheese. You got to eat a bunch of it and drink a bunch of it. It's the best thing for you. It was all like
Oh, never mind.
It was a big milk scam, as they say. Anyway, I think Holly wanted to go. Sorry, I went off on a little tangent there. Please, Holly, go ahead.
Two things. One is for Benjamin. You agreed that Netanyahu is not somebody that you thought was a decent person. Also, to that, you understand that every year the United States gifts $38 billion worth of weapons to Israel, but somehow you have a problem with us giving vaccines and food to starving children in Africa. You're okay with us giving $38 billion of weapons to a lunatic, but not food and vaccines to people that can't afford them in Africa. I need you to make that to make sense for me.
Okay, that's easy to do. So I said I don't think any dollar or weapon or any type of income should go out of these borders when we can't even take care of ourselves at all. I think that USA is a great thing. However, I don't think that it's all going for your US aid. I think these places spend about 10% of that and that 10% actually goes where it's supposed to Africa to help with, medicine and so forth. So it's all a scam no matter how you look at it. It's just how much of that scam is the other countries actually getting. But that's the whole thing. No, I don't have a problem. I think it's a great thing when you are able to take care of yourself first and then have extra money. I think it should go to USAID first. I think those type of places should be the first places they go to. So no, it's not. I guess that's how I feel about it. So it may have came off differently, but
will you speak up and against now? Are you going to speak up and against then? If you are willing to say that USAID is not a bad thing to help, you're willing to speak up and out against Trump now, saying giving $38 billion to Netanyahu in Israel every year is absolutely disgusting and not helping the United States or making us great.
Oh, that's easy to do. Yeah, because see, I'm no longer pure MAGA.
Thank you.
I've been able to.
I've seen
learn.
the light.
I've also been able to.
Yes, I respect that a lot. I respect that a lot.
And yeah, I mean, I have seen the light, and I'm grown up enough to know that I'm not right all the time, but I'm not going to bend over and just accept everything I hear, because I do understand both sides are going to have great talking points and their own, beliefs and their strong beliefs. So I have to, kind of watch what I agree with. But for the most part, yeah, I disagree with a lot that he does. There are still a few things that if it came from a better place or a better mindset or even a better person, I think they're great ideas. Are they working? Not like he said they were going to. Right? I don't think it's America first by any means.
He lost. Yeah.
But Benjamin, we gave
I heard my name.
to Argentina. We could have taken
You're
care of our
breaking
own
up.
problem.
Jay's trying to talk and we can't hear him.
I heard my name. Somebody said my name. Who was that?
Yeah, it was me. I actually have to go, but do you mind if I make a quick closing statement?
Well, sure, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, so my quick closing statement is it was a pleasure to meet y'all. For your information, I'm not actually a redneck. I am JD. Follow my main. Fuck MAGA. I hate him.
I thought that was you. I was like, I recognize that voice.
I was gonna say that voice is super fucking crazy. I knew he was a troll from the get go.
I didn't at all.
So
Really?
JD and I have history. He and I just butt heads for some reason, even though he's.
I love that. He got the conversation going hard.
Yeah, no, that's pretty funny. But
that is actually super funny because I thought he was a troll from the minute he spoke. I mean, that
I didn't
voice,
pick up on that.
He
played the part well.
I saw the cutoff flannel shirt and the almost red, white, and blue, and I just assumed he was another.
Well, because he did a good job. Not gonna lie, he did a good job.
I wanted to. I'm glad he was just kidding because I wanted to correct him about him claiming that Trump was trying to, put Netanyahu in his place when Biden would basically did the same, but at least he gave aid to Palestine, where Trump is doing everything to try against doing that. But I know to go back to what you guys talk about USAID. I can understand from the outside perspective why it may be silly to give money like to certain things like for Sesame Street in Iraq, but like have you ever thought about why we do something like that?
No, I think USA is a must. I think it's a necessity. I understand that if you help scratch, other people's backs or not even scratch your back for a favor in return, but you have to help everybody as a whole for everybody to do well. I just don't agree with giving everybody else money until we can scratch our own backs.
But it's not even much money.
It's $1 is too much at this point.
You don't stand for
Tell that veteran that's homeless on the side of the street.
Please stop using that. Please, I hate when again you voted for Trump when he literally voted to cut funding for the VA. Like, please stop pretending you care about the veterans when you know you don't.
Well, Kamala had in her house.
I do. If you don't, that's you, but I do.
No, but you voted for Trump. We voted for Trump, so you don't care about the veterans.
The type of government waste that angers me is a type you see from the Defense Department that basically gets charged $1,000 for a widget the defense contractor spent $50 producing. That's the government waste I'm concerned about. That's where we can actually squeeze out some money to help America.
It's all waste, and I agree with you. It's all fucking waste.
I actually was thinking, I'm glad you brought that up, Scissor, because it's something, I think it was Jay's, something somebody said made me think of that, because all of this shit where we're getting overcharged from these companies, and it happens all the time. Because the government has what's called sam.gov. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but you can bid on these contracts. So the government needs toilet paper. There are a lot of people that make money just fulfilling these contracts. So you'll have somebody who isn't actually doing the work. They're just calling the trucking company, getting that stuff set up. Calling Kimberly Clark, getting the toilet paper set up. And then they get the trucking company to go pick up the toilet paper and deliver it to somewhere that the government wants it to go. And then they charge a premium on top of the actual cost of it. And then the government pays that, just above and beyond what they should have paid, because they could have just called the fucking trucking company themselves and the toilet paper and saved a fuck ton of money. One of the millionaires that I know and am friends with, that's what he did for a living. And, you get better contracts if you're a veteran or indigenous person. That's something we have to rein in, because these people are. You ever seen War Dogs? You guys have seen that movie War Dogs, right? Yes. Those kids that were basically running guns into fucking Iraq.
Oh yeah,
it's a true story. It's the same thing. It's sam.gov. It's the same thing. You can go there now and look up all the things that the government wants, and they end up paying out the ass for this stuff. So is it better to just have the government running the companies that are doing the things like that to fulfill those contracts? Because we get raped so often. And I feel like it would be cheaper to just
nationalize some of these things.
Yes, exactly.
Well, it's like the government paying private contractors to go, or mercenaries, or whatever you want to call them, and they're paying them triple, quadruple what they're paying the actual military that goes over there. Nothing like that should be privatized.
One thing that's going to make it difficult, though, is that the defense industry has engineered itself over the last 70 years to be so distributed across the country, across so many different political districts, that to try and take them on and mitigate their power in the Defense Department basically means, signing the political, unalive warrants for X amount of congressmen, senators, etc., both in state and federal levels. So they have cleverly basically dug themselves in like a tick in our country in that way. So we have to kind of realize that in order for change to really kind of happen, we have to realize that changing the way we, for example, spend money on defense means ultimately that Americans, blue-collar Americans, are probably going to lose jobs, lose homes. These are the effects of trying to institute real change. I mean, it's an unfortunate thing. It does need to happen, but we have to be ready for those side effects.
When you talk about waste and abuse, okay, when Donald Trump's first term and when COVID-19, and I'm a Metaflight nurse and I know what happened, when he did that warp speed and had My Pillow guy use his factory to build those ventilators. We sold those ventilators to Russia. We don't have them in the United States anymore. We sold them.
That is true.
And
that was terrible.
Our country and taxes, we paid for those, and we sold them to Russia at a high price, by the way. Donald Trump made a lot of money off that deal.
Yeah, and we overpay for fucking everything. And I guarantee you, if you add up the profit that we are paying for unnecessarily for those middlemen that just do federal contracting work, if we got rid of that, that's probably far more money than anybody has ever in the history of the country done in terms of fraud. Even adding Rick Scott into it, just overpayment, and it's not even fraud. It's literally built into the system. And I know Republicans have been like, private companies are, you have to let the private industry do it. Why? For things like that, why? If the government needs toilet paper to go over to D.C. or, whatever it is, some, trailer being moved out there, why can't they just go do that themselves? Why do they have to pay some middleman who isn't even doing
how
anything?
about this? Why don't they just pay a decent wage? Why do they have to pay anybody that is in government, like you're talking, why do they have to pay them 5 times over what it actually costs to do that shit?
Yeah. Don't
Look
know.
at what the cost is and pay them if you have to stay that route, don't pay them 5 times what it's worth. Just pay them a reasonable amount for the job.
Yep.
That's the problem.
But I would say, like, and this is the other lead into is that companies like Kimberly Clark, who pay the average American to work in their company, isn't paying them a livable wage, right? But they're
Right.
paying, they're asking the government to pay 4 or 5 times the inflated price for said toilet paper, right? So it's like a whole circle of everybody losing, right? But these corporations that they're contracting out from for toilet paper and printer ink and everything else, the people that are making it at the private level are suffering too. So you say that, and then that leads them into needing government assistance, right? Using some sort of welfare system to put food on the table, or needing health care, right? But then they want to dismantle, these government programs, but they don't want to make these corporations pay their employees a livable wage across the board, right? Not just McDonald's, right? But everybody gets a livable wage, because we all know that inflation stayed if the price of living stayed with inflation, right, we'd be paying 25, 30 something dollars an hour for people to work at McDonald's, and the plumber would be getting 60K a year, like, or whatever that is. Like, this is the issue, right? It goes full circle, but we're up here having this discussion and we get mad, especially people on the right, about people taking from government subsidies and government assisted programs, but these companies aren't paying. But yet you sit up here and you defend this man as if he's doing something great, right? He's no better than the left, right? He's a little bit worse than the left in my category, but y'all don't want to understand that. Y'all get up here and defend this man with your whole chest as if he's making the world better for everybody, and he's making it worse. And we're all going to be in the field, so to speak, maybe not physically, but we're going to be doing slave labor work, pennies on the dollar, while he lines his pockets, fills that bank account in Qatar, and get on that jet and leave us broke. Our economy's going to be bullshit, and I land with that.
Monty, you
Yeah.
said something that's really important. You brought up Kimberly Clark. When RFK Jr. brought up the Tylenol issue, Kimberly Clark had to divide their company and their shares and their stockholders, and the money went to shit. If you look at what happened to Kimberly Clark weeks after RFK decided that Tylenol was dangerous. That is your government, I guess, Ben, that is your government with a HHS secretary who has no clue what he's doing, calling out a medicine, not to mention the fact that we eradicated measles and now we have it in a rampant style in several states, and these people need health care. The Democrats failed us in that government shutdown. They did, because they had 45 days of holdout, and they did a pinky promise with the Republicans that a health care plan would be in place. And guess what? It didn't happen. There is no health care plan in place. Donald Trump's never presented a health care plan. So he makes people sicker and have to work harder for less. That's what he's about. That's what he's brought to our country.
Well, his health care plan is to give you money so that you can go and pay an outrageous amount of money for health care. That's his.
Can I talk on that? Can I get a timer?
Ferry, well, yes, that's fine. I need to get to Paul and then Cy.
No, let them go first. No, let them go first.
Okay, Paul, welcome in. Go ahead.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Doing fine.
Hey, great. Yeah, I've been listening to you guys now for about 30 minutes or so. Great topics, great discussions.
Thank you.
I want to chime
Welcome in
a little bit. Oh, thank you. I want to chime in a little bit, backtracking on the NAFTA policy. Back in the mid-90s, I was employed through Walmart Distributions, and I was in Arizona, and was facilitating the very first foreign trade zone distribution center for Walmart. And in that time period, because of NAFTA, it was a hot topic for Walmart, because it was going to allow Walmart Distributions to be able to go into Mexico and construct distribution centers in order to supply the country. But along those same lines, if you recall the corn industry in the United States, when NAFTA kicked in, it devastated the farmer in Mexico that he lived off of growing his corn and selling it on the market. But because of NAFTA, it opened up the floodgates, and American corn devastated the farmer, basically bankrupting an entire, impoverished group of people to begin with, which then led to a lot of them having to migrate to the United States in order to try to seek employment. And from that point on, you kind of see the pattern of how, because now it's all about deportations and whatnot. But everybody forgets that U.S. policy sometimes in these other countries creates the migration. Because these farmers are doing fine. These farmers are doing fine in Mexico.
I'm glad you brought that up. I'd never really thought about that. And, I guess the Amerocentric view that a lot of us have, I never really thought about how the devastation would occur in terms of like a trade bill would have an impact on them. Because usually when we fuck a country up, it's because we scream socialism and then run down there and coup their government. And then, in the power vacuum is, cartels end up coming in there and then pushing people out. But yeah, I mean, the corn industry, that's a great thing. I'm going to look that up to look more into that because I'd never heard that before. But I appreciate you bringing that up.
Yeah, no problem. It's just that, there's so many things that tie into U.S. policy when it comes U.S. foreign policy. And when you guys are talking about the waste in money and whatnot, there's so much that could be done differently, but our politicians choose not to. And a lot of it is because of, let's face it, it's Citizens United. Their backers, they depend on that money coming into their coffers in order for them to be reelected, and the whole system basically needs to be blown up. I'm sorry, because
I agree.
Totally out of hand.
Yeah, right here. This is
out of hand.
Mexico, the cost of U.S. dumping. It apparently dropped. Corn prices plummeted 66%.
Correct.
How did this affect Mexican production? It fell for all the crops except corn, fourth column, which saw a surprising 50% increase in production, attributed in part to small farmers' retreat to subsistence under the economic pressures of from NAFTA. If you can't make money selling it, you'll at least have something to eat. And in part, the Mexican government's own subsidies, production also rose significantly. That's crazy. Because when you think of dumping a product, you usually think of like, China dumping cheap goods into the U.S. and then, causing harm to manufacturing in this country, but never really thought about the reverse of that. U.S. dumping, cheap ass products, and that's crazy.
It goes back to supply and demand, and it's just a facet of how the economies work in the world. All countries do this, to one another. Sometimes not even thinking of the ill effects that it causes to other populations. We as the United States have really been privileged in the sense that we kind of like have controlled the markets throughout the world. But I think the world is catching up to us, and I think they're starting to realize that they really don't need the United States to survive.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. Look at this for Mexico. The prices of all of these stuff, negative 66%, negative 67%. And then export growth for corn for the U.S. was 413%. Jeez. Yep. Why in the fuck that? I mean, they signed it, so I don't know if that was under threat, but either way, Paul, I'm going to look more into that. I appreciate you bringing that up. That's interesting. Now let me get to Cy Kitty. Cy, go ahead.
Hey, thanks for having me. You guys are doing good. I have a little bit of nugget of experience in government spending, and apologies, it may take me more than a minute to get this out. So I worked a sales job at one point in my career. And some of my clients were actually municipal governments, city, local governments. And we had a process that was a standard process that municipal governments went through when they were purchasing things. And that process is called an RFP, a request for purchase or request for proposal. And so the way that this process worked is if you wanted to sell this city government something, you had to send them a formal proposal that told what they were getting, all the features of the product that you were selling, and how much it cost. And what these city governments would do is they would collect 3 quotes generally. And of those 3 quotes, they would look at which is the lowest price, and that was usually their deciding factor. If there were features in the product that they were mandatory, like really, really wanted those features, they might go with a higher proposal cost, but almost every time they went with the lowest cost. And so you submit your RFP, that RFP got put onto the budget meeting. And so I'd have to sit and look at the minutes for the town hall to see if my product that I was selling had been discussed on the agenda. I'd have to reach out to my contacts and say, hey, where are we with getting this this proposal on the agenda? And that was debated in an open forum. And then eventually they would determine who to go with, and they would award the RFP to whoever they thought had the best product. So my question is, if this is a standard operating procedure for local governments to make sure that they're not getting screwed over by companies, why aren't we doing that at the federal level? Why isn't the Defense Department doing RFPs for every single thing, every single product that they're buying, instead of doing the opposite of that, which is just going with whoever charges the highest price?
Yeah, I mean,
because it would be harder to line their pockets with money.
I mean, there's that, but yes, I mean, municipalities, those RFPs are, it's the same general process, because if you go to sam.gov, they have a request, and then you send the information it tells you on that website, much like you were just talking about. But the federal government is asking for so many fucking things. They don't have enough employees to cover all of that stuff. So, and this is, what my friend who did this for a living and became a multimillionaire off of it, what he said is that generally speaking, they have so many things that they have to get done that a lot of those proposals end up, either there aren't competing proposals, or it's just, we got to get to it. Plus, if you're a veteran, you get preferred status, even if the cost is a little bit more. Same for indigenous people. They get preferred status for quotes, so they can, they could raise their price by a couple of percentage points and still be looked at above somebody else. And so there's a lot of other things, and it's just a lot more to it than just, your local city, sitting around at the table talking about the 50 projects they have going on versus the 100 fucking million things that the federal government needs. But
and Trump's program to slash government employees and to get rid of all of these, these people on government payroll, it's not getting rid of the bureaucracy. It's just getting rid of the bureaucrats who actually do the work. All of that work still needs to be done. There's still people who need to evaluate these proposals. They can't just rubber stamp everything, and that seems to be the process. We can't get rid of government jobs and then say, oh, well, look, we're improving our efficiency. No, we're just creating a skeleton crew that's overworked and is going to make mistakes, is going to make bad calls. I don't understand how anybody can look at that and say, yeah, that's good business, to slash your payroll, to slash your workforce. Yeah, it'll get you a current quarter savings, but then in the next 2 quarters, you're going to be behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, well, and I think the goal there is to privatize that stuff even more. Push that off. Bring in consulting firms who do the things that federal employees used to do, which will then end up costing the government more, in my opinion. Because private companies generally are the ones that bilk the most out of us unnecessarily. But maybe there's an argument to be made otherwise, but still. Who
they
Lonnie
use contractors now
go ahead.
in they currently use contractors now to replace some people before Trump went on his firing spree. Like they were already outsourcing some of these jobs within the government to outside contractors to do all the heavy lifting and the hiring and all the stuff and things. And those people are still doing those jobs, like, he said, less people, more workload, they spend less money, they can hoard more money. And we know that Trump is trying to hoard as much money as he can, so he can get out of Dodge and line his pockets, like Benjamin said, you know. And this is where we're at, and it's crazy that, like, Benjamin says he wants to be mindful of what people are telling him, but is he going to verify this information as well as the information he's being told by people on the right? Because he takes people's information from the right and he reshares it with no question. But then when it comes to us here on the left, he's like, I don't know, maybe not, right? Which I understand questioning, but like I said before, if you're gonna question one side, question the other before you go with your whole chest standing up for something when we know it's a disaster. I say it all the time. We know the Dems aren't perfect. We know that, right? But at least we can say that. Benjamin and whoever else was up here was like, oh, even in the chat, how great he is. And the reality is he's broken it. Like, yeah, it was broken before, but he shattered the system. And now look at where we are. We're all going to be up creek without a paddle. And with that, I land.
Yeah.
Well, do we think since
Go ahead, Benjamin.
do we? Oh shoot, I got bars. Oh,
Well, I
I'm
can
sorry.
hear you. I can hear
I think
you.
Ferry's gonna chime in. Can you? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. First off, those the things that I put in the chat room, that's just to piss off Tim and get them all riled up. No. Now, if it's shattered, is it? Maybe you're right. Maybe it was already broken, and maybe it being shattered, maybe the best thing that could happen to us, because we've been going along with this broken system ever since I can remember. Obviously, the internet and everything has made it that much worse, or maybe not even that much worse. Maybe it's just opened our eyes to a lot more that we kind of knew about, but wasn't for sure. But maybe now that it's shattered, if that's what we're going to call it, maybe this is the thing that'll finally freaking change shit, right? Maybe.
Well, that requires us finding the people and supporting the people that want to change it, right? That's what this requires. And to understand that, be willing to say that this is the problem and this is what needs to be fixed, right? Because you can't fix a problem until you acknowledge that you have the problem. And some of us have acknowledged that this administration is the problem, right? And we also are saying this is how we could possibly fix that problem. While there's not one all fail solution, it's going to require many different solutions in order to fix this problem. We all, as a collective, working class American people who are being screwed by this administration, regardless of what side of the fence you're on, we all have to come together and be willing to come up with solutions to change this system and support the people that want to see the change, instead of sitting up here and arguing and justifying the unaliving of people who did nothing that warranted their unaliving by somebody in the street, right? If that's the case, if you break the law, then let the law handle it. Let the law give the sentence. Let the law do the executing, right? But that's not what's happening here, right? You get up here and you say, oh, well, he wasn't going to the donut shop. I don't care. I don't care if he wasn't. I don't care if he was just following them, recording them. That did not give them the right to unalive him the way that they did. And that's what they keep doing, because people like Benjamin keep supporting what they're doing by calling on their neighbors. And I'm not saying Benjamin calls on his neighbors. I'm not saying that, Benjamin. But there are people out here calling on their neighbors because their neighbors speak a different language. And ICE is going over there disrupting things and making it worse. And we need to stop that and come together and help each other so that we all can survive, because we're not even the people on the right. And with that, I land.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. It's just, when somebody has had their entire identity, because Benjamin, how old are you? Like 40?
42.
Yeah, like I don't know how long you've been a Republican, but we got to realize that these are humans, and their entire lives at some point are being upended. What they thought was real, and they trusted these people in this party, this identity that they've made for themselves. It's going to take time to get rid of that. It will. So then you still have the last vestiges of I'm starting to see that a lot of this is bullshit, but it's going to take a while to fully get rid of that and just openly realize it. So I get frustrated with Benjamin sometimes, but at the end of the day, I understand it, because we're all people. And, when something, your parents, think about the moment, in adulthood when you realize, okay, my parents weren't this thing that I thought, they were above all of this other stuff. When you start realizing that they're just dumbasses like everybody else is, right? And they do stupid shit too. Exactly. It's like it's an awakening moment. Because I remember the time I realized I saw my mother as an adult doing things that like other people would do, and I'm like, oh, that's weird. So she isn't like an alien and some kind of like superhuman person. You know what I mean? Like it's a weird thing when your whole life has been one way, and then that gets called into question. There's a term for it. It's called cognitive dissonance.
I grew up. I grew up. I was raised until I was 14 by a skinhead. So, I know that realization, and I really thought that I had left that behind me, and like that I was on my family all the time about their racism, until my 14-year-old grandson, who is Cuban, Mexican, and white, when I told him what he was, he cried and said, I can't be Mexican because Mexicans are bad because of my family. And that really opened my eyes and made me walk away from my family. Because, when you're raised with it and you hear it all the time, you're so desensitized. I didn't agree with what they said, but you just get used to hearing it. And I think we need to give mega who want to learn a little more grace, because honestly, we need them in this fight. We need them.
And I can give Benjamin grace. I really can, right? I give him grace. At the same time, right? I'm on pause with him as well, right? So I'm not throwing all my grace on him and expecting him to save the world, right? Like I said to him,
I get what I get from Lonnie.
This is what I said: question everything. If you're gonna question the left, question the right. Go down.
No,
the
I
rabbit
respect
hole,
that.
Figure it out, right? And cut I don't want you to believe everything that comes out of my mouth. What I want to do is make you ask questions, right? And I want you to go find the answers to the questions. And you can disagree. You can come back and be like, Lonnie, you were a little bit wrong on that. And I can take my L with my whole chest and be like, all right, I was wrong, right? Because when I'm not 100% on something, I will, like I said earlier, hey, Lib, correct me if I'm wrong, right? From my understanding, this is this and that is that, right? And Lib corrected it, right, by saying there were a little bit more changes than you think in that agreement, right? And I took that, I didn't argue with him, I didn't combat him, but my whole point was to say that we got to ask more questions than taking what we're told. And I get that a lot of people, I was raised that way too, to just obey commands and don't question, right? But I also got in trouble for asking questions, right? Now that I'm an adult,
I always hated that. And teachers hated me for that. Because or bosses, for example, it's like, tell me why this rule is in place. You can tell me the rule, but tell me why. What is the fucking purpose? What purpose does it serve? Because it's like a rule that has no purpose, really, or that doesn't make sense to me. I you know what I mean? I don't like that. But
and that's what I'm trying.
Can I have a soapbox moment? Respond to Benjamin,
please. Yeah, is that Cy?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
I'm going to step
I'm new
down so
here.
you can get more people up here, but I'm going to stay in the chat. But I'm going to step down so that we can get more people up to talk.
Okay. Well, I mean, you can hang out. There's still 2 boxes open, but you're welcome to drop if you'd like.
Okay. I just don't want to take up room. That's all.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Yeah, go ahead, Si.
My lunch break's ending, but just to kind of respond to Benjamin, like, I'm new here. I don't know you. I just want to respond to the exact point that you said, and so no heat here. But what I'm hearing from that point is a very accelerationist take, and so it reminds me of the the really kind of crazy fundamentalist Christians who are like, well, we have to burn the world down for Jesus to come back. And it just strikes me as like very foolhardy. If I was on a train and the engine was broken, I would much rather try to fix the broken engine while we're still on the tracks versus letting the train crash and completely derail and then have to fix it afterwards. And, I'm a white guy. I'm very privileged. I am about as close in proximity to the highest privilege as possible. The only way I could be more privileged is if I was straight and wealthy. So I'm not going to be hurt. I'm not going to be hurt by the entire crash of the country. And so I understand the ideology of, well, everything is so broken and it's such a big problem to fix it. Let's just throw everything out and start over. But we can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. There's plenty of people whose entire existence relies on there being structure and stability and things like Meals on Wheels, things like Medicaid. I don't think that I don't think it's a good idea really to take all the old people in this country and sacrifice them on the wheel of progress. We have to come up with a better solution.
I agree. I mean, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I can get that. I mean, I do feel like we're at a point where, I mean, it is obliterated. So, I mean, I don't know how much train we have left.
Broken. Everything is very broken.
Yes.
I will agree with you 100%. But the way that
we're also at a state.
I was just going to say.
Well, we're also in a.
I think there's a delay.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
The way that we fix the problem is not just by throwing out everything and starting over, because we've seen in history when that happens. We've seen violent revolutions and ideologies take over a country. We've seen bad governments topple and worse governments come out of it, because the problem with chaos is a ladder, and sometimes the people who are willing to step on others are going to get to the top of that ladder. Okay, so we can't necessarily just say, well, you know what, let's just burn it all down and we'll start over. We have to have a plan in place to do that so that we don't end up with another populist demagogue con man who tells everybody what they want to hear, who has no problem just lying about, he could be standing outside in broad daylight and going, oh, it's a beautiful night. He lies as easily as he breathes. And there are other people out there like him who are younger, who are more in line with the traditional Christian values. I mean, Mr. Kirk potentially could have had a run for the White House if he really wanted to, because he is somebody that that base really resonated with, said the things that he wanted to. I think that, and this is my tinfoil hat, I'm fully willing to own it, but while he wasn't a political figure, it was definitely a politically motivated unaliving, and I do not think that it was just a private citizen that was only involved. I think Erica's behavior and everybody in our government's behavior in how that event went down shows that there were some irons in the fire there. There was some stuff going on behind the scenes, and
I agree.
I think he was far too influential of a figure. And he was out there saying, hey, we got to release the files. We got to release the files. And the people who pull the strings didn't like that. And so they got rid of him and made it a big political motivating thing. They used that to fan the flames of the base. So these people are dangerous, make no mistake. They are stupid and incompetent and oftentimes buffoons, but they are dangerous. And if we think that Trump is the only dangerous person, no, it's a pit of vipers, and they can pull another one out, and we will have another guy just like him who, gets up in front of the microphone and says, I'm going to make everything great. I'm here to save you people, all of you poor people in all these red states. You've been screwed over by the Democrats, and I'm here to save you. They will find another savior. So we need to come up with a better plan than burn it all down and start over, because we could very well end up with, keep in mind,
something worse.
Mr. Adolf, he grew up out of World War One. World War One, Germany sided with the wrong guy and ended up decimated. They didn't get any money for rebuilding like a lot of other countries did, and they got saddled with the blame for World War One. Their economy was in the trash. And so when, Mr. Mustache got up in front of everybody and said, we're going to make Germany great again, we're going to rise, we're going to get back to where we belong, Germany overall, they really resonated with that, because they were economically devastated. So if we economically devastate the United States, what do you think is going to happen again?
Yeah, I see your point.
And think of it like this, because I don't know who that is with the background noise, but good Lord Almighty. That may be Techno-Pagan. Yeah, Techno-Pagan, that was you. Think of it like your immune system, right? Donald Trump is a fucking virus in our system. Now, our system isn't perfect, right? We have problems, and we need to fix those problems. But Donald Trump coming in, we're sick right now. Because you get sick with a virus, but guess what happens after? You get an immune response from that. Your body remembers that illness, and then it is able to fight it much faster in the future. But not if the body is broken down to the point of being unalived, right? Then the virus,
that makes sense.
The virus wins. So it's going to suck. And sometimes, however, you have to let fever go and let your fever do what it's supposed to do, because that's your immune response. That's how it fights the infection. Sometimes you have to let it go and feel like shit to best fight it off. And that's what we're dealing with right now. So on the other side of that, and of course, immune memory isn't like forever. Sometimes it wanes and it may come back later, but at least you have that inkling of memory. And so maybe we needed to go through this in order to stave off what Cy was saying, some other demagogue coming out and doing it again. And so there is a silver lining here. There is a silver lining.
I think one thing we're forgetting too is within 10 years, or in 10 years, a lot of these people are going to be gone because of age. Like last night I was watching the news, and there's Maxine Waters, and I have nothing against her personally, but man, she was she's up there, man. And it's like, it just reminded me that we're not far from having a whole bunch of new faces.
Chuck Schumer as well. Chuck
Diesel.
Schumer is up there.
Okay, yes, Diesel. Hold on, buddy. Because I got other people that just got here, and they're going to go first. Okay, Benjamin, go ahead and land your plane.
No, you're good. That's all. I just know that in 10 years, it's just another curveball that. Donald Trump, how old is he? 78? I think something in there. He's within, like, all these people that are hanging on to these old, ways. Hopefully the younger generation comes through and with all these new bright ideas, and they're really smart. We don't give them enough credit. Like, my son amazes me, his train of thought. And I try to parent him, but sometimes I'm just
you got to learn from them too.
Yeah, I'm taken aback, because it's like, holy crap, I actually like your way better, or I didn't think of it that way, or so it'll be interesting. I'll let my plan there.
We definitely need some new blood. Them old fogies got to go. Definitely, because that's just old shit. Let me get to Drew. I think you came in first. Drew, and then Techno, and then Daddy. Go ahead, Drew. Drew, I did mute you. You had somebody had background. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm all right. Well, thanks for having me up. That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, I need you guys to realize that white nationalism, which is something that the KKK, love, has infiltrated pretty much every branch of government at this point. And Trump has gone out of his way to accelerate that process by getting rid of non-loyalists and putting loyalists in position. And that malignancy has been going on for years, long before Reagan. And I'm telling you that there are things that I have seen and heard about that if the next Democrat does not come in ready to put all of these people in a friggin' farm work camp so they're picking cotton, we're going to have a problem again like this, because the South has risen again. And I'm sorry, but this is very much a racial thing, and it is very much the right that is filled with these racist bigots that have gone out of their way to work their way into positions of power that will make it extremely hard to pull them out. And I'm going to land my plane there.
Yeah, and as you were talking, I actually brought this up because I had this go, and I forgot that I was going to bring this up today. Let me mute you because you got some background noise. Federal agency probes Nike over alleged discrimination against white employees. I mean, I'm sorry. That's nuts to me. That their focus is on that, dismantle the DEI stuff, and then go after any discrimination against white people in the workplace. You know, whatever. Techno Pagan, go ahead. Love the name, by the way.
Yes, I was calling. So basically, what I was gonna get at was that. Well, let me gather my thoughts again. Hold on a minute. Hold on. I'm also driving.
Oh no, you're teleporting. You're teleporting because you can't.
I'm teleporting.
Yeah.
I'm teleporting in the world.
Yeah, because you're.
So what I was gonna say was that somebody, I was on another like a Republic, like a right wing MAGA live or whatever, and I had to be good about it, and you know, and it was hard, but yeah. Anyway, they mentioned that they still don't think that Trump is in any of the Epstein files because it's all been redacted, right? So we don't see his name anywhere, right? So I mean, but I thought that there was 3,000 mentions of him in the Epstein files. Is that correct? What is the? I've
heard 5,000 plus. I've heard over 1,000. I've heard over 2,000. So I don't know the exact number, but it's in the thousands.
And they're arguing that his name. So when it's mentioned about borrowing the plane when his plane is out of commission. He's kind of like he's a plant, you know, into the group to like single them out. That's what they're claiming. Anyways, which there's no evidence of that necessarily. There's evidence that he flew the plane or he was on the plane, right? So what does everybody here gather on what we've gotten out of the files that we have? And that I've heard that they accidentally leaked things of him being tied to, you know, to Epstein. Has he been on? Oh, that's the other thing they mentioned. They mentioned he's never been on the island. Is there any mention of him being on the island in any of the parts that they've forgot to redact?
Well, he also said he didn't fly on the plane, but it turns out he did. I'm not sure if they found that he was actually on the island, but not everything that Epstein did was on the island. A lot of what he did was in his brownstone. In his brownstone, he also had property. I think it was in Colorado. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. It was Colorado or New Mexico or something like that. So, you know, his base of operations wasn't just the island. You know, so that doesn't really mean anything to me. Plus, he has his own planes and stuff, so he could theoretically have flown there himself, you know, without being, you know, going there on, who's that, Cy?
Yeah, I got to leave, so I can give my thoughts if you want before I head out.
Sure.
So my whole thought on the files, I mean, it's very clear that Trump's in them. It's very clear that he's been mentioned and named. There we have interviews showing him saying that he's good friends with Jeffrey and that, you know, he loves his beautiful women, loves them especially young. He said that. He said that on camera. There's pictures of them together. I mean, that guilt by association should have ended his political career the moment that Epstein was put behind bars. Because how are you good friends with this person who's doing such a disgusting act and illegal and immoral and everything, and you're good buddies with this person, and you didn't think to maybe call the FBI and say, hey, my best friend is a trafficker. Can you help? Can I help you take him down? And if that had happened, there'd be evidence of it. And don't you think that Mr. Trump would have bragged about that? That, oh, I was the one who took down the ring. It was me. It was me. I took the down. I killed the deep state.
I saw him eating the cats. I saw him eating the dogs.
And so
what said he wants us to just all shut up and move on.
Is two things. Number one, the fact that the files were released and nothing happened, it really paints a bad picture. And it really says a lot negative about our country.
Sorry, can I say this? Because I'd like your opinion before you leave on it. What you're saying is kind of my feelings towards the whole thing. We're having this discussion about everything and anything, and at the end of the day, the discussion is about a guy that his name is in a file over 5,000 times or 3,000, whatever the case may be. Even if it's in there 10 times, I mean, that should be enough.
Yep.
And he's our president, and we voted him in knowing all this. Even if the files weren't out yet, we knew, quote unquote knew. And this is the world we live in. We live in a world where we have a guy that, if you read any of it, should be absolutely, put on a tree. And we're worried about everything else that he's doing. Well, I wonder if he's going to lower gas prices. I wonder if eggs are going to come down. I thought you said you were going to do this. You were supposed to do that. And he should, but like how I still cannot freaking compute this in my head that we aren't all united going after that one subject. We're still able to put that aside in our brain and say, well, we know we all think he is. We should know he is. We're reading what we're reading, but let's put that to the side and let's talk about how we're pissed off that he's, doing this with ICE in the streets, or, how do we do that with our brain? How do we set aside something so crazy, even to the point of putting him back in office as our president? How does that even work?
Part of a cult.
You'll have to excuse me because I'm from the late 1900s, and in the 1900s, people's political careers were ended by much less. That one single picture of Trump with his arm around Epstein, that would have been enough when I was young. That would have been enough. He would have never been able to run again. He would have had to take his name off of that tower in New York. It would have become somebody else's tower, and he would have had to move to Russia to get away from the negative publicity. That is the world I grew up in. And the world that we're in today is we have country bumpkins defending this man who is a literal New York fat cat with a silver spoon born in his mouth, who has never, ever, ever cared about the working class, has screwed over every single contractor he's ever hired, has, cheated, lied, and stolen. And these country bumpkins are going, he's the greatest thing to ever happen to America. We love him. And when the information comes out that, hey, guess what? This dude is a sex pest. He's a sex pest on multiple counts with adult women, with his own wife, with potentially his daughter, and, with Miss America pageant contestants, and with a lot of probable children that, now that we know what's going on in the files. So
Melania was probably an escort too.
I want to know what is the line in the sand for these people. What would he have to do? I mean, does he have to resort to cannibalism before they'll drop him?
I don't think there's
eat a baby on they actually were eating the children.
I don't. Well, it's alleged that they were. I mean, because here's the thing. They've had those files for so long. It's possible that they added a bunch of weird, crazy shit in order to just muddy the water and make it seem so out there that you can't believe it, right? It's so crazy you can't believe it. Let's move on.
Freddy's was in the Epstein files.
And one of the theories is that the original Pizzagate was a way to make it seem like we were all crazy conspiracy theory people for even believing half of what's in there.
Right.
Right. Well, that's why I think that Alex Jones's role to play is to he would talk about things that were real in a crazy way to make anybody that talked about those real things sound crazy.
If I was talking about country bumpkins, I think it's country bumpkins are the ones that actually would want something like they want to make it acceptable to do what happened on the island.
To Sai's point,
you got to realize.
To Sai's point, let me just play this real quick, Drew, and then you can go. Listen to this sound effect. That unalived the presidential bid for a presidential candidate who was the front runner. That sound was played everywhere, and here we are with the guy who was best friends with one of the most prolific child traffickers in the history of the country, maybe the world, and nothing. It is wild.
Okay, I do need to say. Hang on. One thing I do want to say is that you realize that close to 60 to 70% of all of the Trumpies online are actual bots. They are not actual people that are making it sound like he has more support than he really has online. Need you guys to realize that.
I actually did a video over that, Drew. Yeah, you're right.
It's crazy.
I want to say, Megyn Kelly. Also, how do they justify? Look at what Megyn Kelly was justifying. And on top of that, are you able to give grace to anyone who supported Trump, who voted for him? Because I'm just saying, I don't think grace should be ever given to them again. They got to be like,
I'm done with grace. They all need to be in a concentration camp picking cotton like slaves. Now.
Whoa, man, I'm black. Whoa, time out.
Can I say this? I want to say this to Benjamin.
Whoa,
Benjamin,
come on, man.
I don't care if they're black. I don't care if they're white.
Okay.
I said I'm
don't
black.
care anymore.
Okay, right here. Let me mute real quick. Diesel, I don't know what wind turbine you are inside of or airplane you're standing on the wing of, but you have got some serious background noise, man. And it's hard to focus when all that's going on. Lonnie, you wanted to say something. Please go ahead.
Yeah, because I get that Benjamin is torn between a rock and a hard place in his life right now. I mean, we've had this back and forth with Benjamin for a long time now, right? But here's the issue, right? Like everybody was just saying, right? The gentleman that Lib has as his timer ending, right? And the person that Cy Kitty was talking about, like how small little things would stop you from being involved. Just like y'all went hard against Hillary Clinton, but not Donald Trump, and assumed that Hillary Clinton had something to do with Pizzagate when people were saying she didn't have anything to do with it, there was no such thing. And now today you're standing up here as like getting your aha moment, like, oh, wow, wait a minute, how did he even get the chance? Because of situations like that, Donald Trump muddied the waters in people's minds with all his skeptics that he was saying about the people who were doing more right than he was, right? The media's fake, the news is fake, don't believe it. And so many of y'all jumped on that bandwagon that news was fake and this was fake. You know, even the stuff he was saying about VP Harris, she's not educated enough, she's not this, she's not that. And you refused in that moment to listen to a voice of reason and understand that she went to college, she worked in all three branches of government, she was the most qualified candidate on paper to be in the position she was in. And so many of y'all believed what that man said out of his mouth, and you chose the opposite. And this is why we are here today. And with that, I end.
Can I say something to you, Lonnie? I'm just going to tell you straight out. It's called America. You know that a black person, mixed race person, or whatever, you know, they're not gonna get her over white. You don't stress yourself about how qualified a black person is. Just know that they would not give them that job because this is America. I'm not saying it's right. I don't agree with it at all. I'm just saying, objectively,
She was
they align
robbed.
with Trump. They
That was
align
not
with
my
Trump
point, Diesel.
because
My
of
point was to
identity
say,
politics. They play more racial identity politics than what we do, but they like to accuse us of it. So
my
don't
point was
stress
to
yourself
say,
about her qualifications. Nobody cares about qualifications.
my point
Like
was
they
to
say
say
they
to
do.
Diesel,
They're lying.
to what he was, excuse me, to what he was saying is, how did we get here? And how we got here was when we had someone such as Hillary who was running, that the smear campaign that they jumped upon to smear that woman is how we got here. Because if people would have smeared Donald Trump, and we did as much as they did about Hillary, he wouldn't be here the first time nor the second time. But that's my point, right? Like, this is how we got here, because they played them in their face, and now they're seeing that what she said, VP Harris, because she said on that debate stage that we would be right where we were, right where we are, if they choose Donald Trump. And her prediction came true. What she said is coming true. And now they're in this spot where they're stuck between a rock and a hard place, because how do they go against everything they believed versus everything that they're seeing? And this is why they can't get on board. This is why they have such a hard time trying to see the forest through the tree. That's all I'm saying.
If I can add to that, Lonnie, I would say, right, there is a long history of people, especially on the alt-right, right? There's been spaces for these people for decades where all they have done is talk about the government's going to become tyrannical. You need to protect your Second Amendment, right? And there's going to be some sort of race war, right? There's all this ridiculous nonsense that they've been peddling for probably
Every
40 plus
accusation
years.
is an admittance of guilt.
What?
Every accusation is an admittance of guilt. Every accusation they have made against the left, they are doing, period. They are going to try to steal the election. They're going to, I could give you a list, but basically any time that they call us out on something, you can almost guarantee they're going to turn around and justify their doing it by saying, well, the Democrats did it.
They do it all the time. It's annoying as fuck.
Yeah, it is.
It is definitely one of them. That was the biggest one, Pizzagate. They blamed Hillary for Pizzagate, and now look.
They're using ping pong pizza. They're trafficking kids from the basement. And y'all remember that guy that went there with the gun, right?
Yeah.
Demanding, like, scared the fuck out of everybody, and then he finally had to realize there's no basement. It's just a fucking pizza parlor.
Yeah,
and then he gave himself up.
It's so crazy. And you get, sometimes you get so speechless by some of the things that they actually believe. Like, what? Where are you? I mean, do you need therapy? Maybe we can offer them some therapy. I don't know.
Well, that's why I'm done with them.
It's not about therapy. They're not going to. It's about them wanting to maintain the racial dominance. They will deflect. They will be accusatory. They will. It's about the racial identity politics. They're in a cult, and that's all it boils down to. You just gotta write them off, sum it up to that. That's what it boils down to. That's just what it is. I don't know if there's any redemption for it when they come clean and realize, the only reason I wanted Trump was because I align with white dominance, global white dominance, not just here in America, but also globally. I align with the policies of white dominance.
I will accept.
That's it in a nutshell.
I have a huge Catholic
I will accept
family.
those. I will accept those that realize that they're at fault, but I will not accept those that do not account for their behavior as wrong.
Right, and I agree. I have went no contact with 95% of my family because of all of this, and it's been a slow progression. But Trump is just a symptom. he's a symptom. He allowed for these people to come out in the open and
Absolutely.
show us who they are. And that's devastating. And I, like Benjamin, I know you have family that are probably going to be very critical and very hard on you. But let me tell you what, to have a life of peace when you come to that realization, that's way better than trying to even change your family's mind or your friends for that matter. I have changed everybody in my life. Everybody. And I have never, ever been so happy. I've actually been able to reduce my anti-anxiety medication because I've eliminated so many people. So many
Well, I
people.
will say I'm
I've
blessed to
lost a lot of
have
friends too.
my family, my wife, and my kids. They have actually, my son mainly has opened my eyes to a lot. He's almost 20, and I could tell he was getting mad at me because of my views.
He should come on the show.
Yeah. I mean, I will say he's really unique in the sense that he hates the drama of what am I trying to say? I think he would like this because he would like to see that I am a part of something and learning, and I think he would appreciate that. But he hates the whole social. Like he doesn't have a lot of apps. He's different. He's unique, and that's great. But he was one of the ones that opened my eyes to say, like, we could really have a messed up relationship over your views because, like, I'm able to see what Trump's about, and I think he's trash. And I think you're coming from a bad place of why you like Trump. And it really made me think, like, it's not worth losing my kids and my, over, so I backed off of it. And that's when I started to change and say, you know what, it's like, I don't want to run around my house. And in fact, I don't even say it anymore, which is amazing. I don't go for Trump. And I told my son, I said, I think you'll be happy knowing that I'm not Republican anymore. Like, I'm just, I'm still, it's hard to understand what I've known forever and who I grew up with, because all my family is MAGA. Like, you go to one of our get-togethers and it's Trump all the way, and
a sea of
growing
red hats.
Yes, and growing up, like, my dad was
Might does not make right.
I'll say, I want to say
and
this
I
to
had to
Liv.
look past all that.
I want to say this to Liv real quick. Liv, that was it you that posted the video in the group chat of Benjamin and his son fighting? Was that you?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
It shouldn't have been me and my son fighting.
If you saw it, you would get the joke, because there's a video.
I see what you're saying.
There's a video.
I thought it
in
was
the
an
group
actual
chat
video.
where a guy called his son's friends the N-word, and the son went ham on his dad.
Oh, nice.
That video was awesome. I sent that
I will
to.
say
I didn't give up my friends who were Trump supporters. I didn't give them up. Because hold on, I'm sorry. I didn't turn away my friend who is, mind you, he's black, retired Navy, and a full-on Trump supporter. I mean, I've referred to him for what he is in my community. See, that rhymes with boo, but I'm not gonna cut out a friendship. It's just like, okay, I want to be around to see you get your wake up call. That's what I call it, like a Negro wake up call. I want to see him get his Negro wake up call, and if he don't, cool. But I don't believe that people should cut their family off. They should just be like, all right, I'm gonna watch you, and hopefully, maybe you will learn a lesson.
I'm sorry, there has to be consequences for this kind of amoral support of an individual that's willing to do what is reportedly done and adjudicated in many cases already. And to support a man like that is repugnant, in my opinion. Sorry, just had to chime in there.
Well, the silver lining here that we don't often think about is that it shines a spotlight that we have some pretty severe problems, and it gives us, this could be an opportunity if we get through this shit to fix it once and for all. A guest has violated your misinformation policy. Let's see who that was.
Oh, really?
Your live is flagged for misinformation. Repeated violations could result in your live being discontinued. Lonnie B's live contains themes that some may find uncomfortable. I don't know. Maybe it was the comment about the video, so maybe I shouldn't play the video, which I actually was about to play.
May not be worth it.
I don't even know. I don't know what exactly she said. That was this fucking. Oh my god, that's.
Can
ridiculous.
I say this, Tim? What
I'm
really
surprised she got
bothersome
dinged
for
and
me
I didn't.
I don't. Whatever.
Trump
fucking,
is asked about Bill Clinton and stuff, and Trump can't even say fuck Bill Clinton for what he is in the files. He literally will say, I kind of like Bill Clinton because he told everybody to don't run against me because I'm a badass. I hate what's happening to him. Why would you fucking hate what's happening to Bill Clinton? If he's guilty, you should be we should put the FBI against Bill Clinton all the way and da-da-da. No, you're literally like, and Bill Clinton wouldn't even do the same for you. Bill Clinton would be like, let's bury this guy.
Oh, let me play that clip because again, you got to remember Trump was friends with both of them, Bill and Hillary, for a long time.
And he
donated
for him to this day. It just blows my mind.
Just like Ghislaine. I wish her well.
Right.
Yeah, let's listen to this dotard.
They asked me a question yesterday at the press conference about Clinton because of the testimony, the Epstein thing, which turned out that I have nothing to do, and they did, about Epstein.
Oh, my God.
And they said, do you think it's terrible, with the subpoenas and everything, and they're disobeying the subpoenas? And I actually said it's a shame. You have an ex-president, and you have, the president's wife and Secretary of State. And I said, it's a shame. It is a shame.
NBC News broke the story today. I don't know if you saw it, that the Democrats are already saying, if you bring President Bill Clinton and he has to testify, we're bringing President Trump. What do you say to that?
I think they might say that, but they've already brought me. See, I've been brought. They had me indicted many, many times.
This fucking
many,
guy.
Many times. They didn't do that to Clinton.
Do you think if the Democrats win in the midterms, at least one House of Congress, they're going to try to impeach you?
Well, I've done a great job as president. They say I've had the best first year of any president in history, and I think I have. If you look, I settled 8 wars, biggest tax cuts ever. Right now, we have more under construction with the factories, the car plant. They're all moving back into the country. They were stolen from us over a 40-year period. They're all coming back from Germany, from Canada, from Mexico, from Japan. I think I had the greatest first year that we've
But
had.
you think they may come after you again?
Well, they'll find something, like I did an interview with you, and because I did the interview, let's impeach him or something.
Anything out there that Americans are going to be surprised about?
I'll tell you, they shouldn't do it. And that's one of the things. I didn't do it for that reason, but it bothers me that somebody's going after Bill Clinton. See, I like Bill Clinton. I still like Bill Clinton.
What do you like about him?
I liked his behavior toward me. I thought he got me. He understood me.
He got me.
He was the one that said very famously.
Keep in mind, this is Bubba. He's like, Bubba got me. Bubba got me. Oh, he got me. You got me, Bubba.
18
Bubba got me
There's
good.
18 people, including me, total. And he kept telling them, you don't want to run against Trump. Run against anyone. Don't run against Trump. And Hillary sort of laughed at him. He said, Hillary, you know it, and I know. Don't run against Trump.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
They ran
Listen to
against
this
Trump. It didn't work out too well, did it?
Oh, my God. This man is. So, yeah,
See,
again.
right there, if he was innocent, he should have been like, fuck Bill Clinton. I hope he gets everything he got coming to him. I see his name in the files, and we're going to get the FBI because I'm in charge, and I'm going to have him go after. Instead, he's like, no, man, I think it's terrible what they're doing to Bill Clinton. He's a good man. Like, see, that's what throws my mental off. And what should any normal person, right?
And didn't Trump, used to complain about Clinton being in the files or being, friends with Epstein and flying on the plane?
Yes, he did.
Yeah,
All
I
the
think he
time.
did.
And then all of a sudden now he's like, or at least the party did. I don't know if Trump specifically did that. But again, these are criminals protecting each other. Because I don't like Clinton. I haven't liked Clinton for a while. I mean, he wasn't like the worst president we've ever had, but he certainly wasn't the best. And
Well, it sure
he does it with Newsom too, though. He'll say, "Oh, I like Newsom. I always have. He's a good man." And Newsom's still steadily talking shit on you. You should say everything about him that you hate him, but you're protecting him, and you just can't. I don't know what it's like. They have all this dirt on each other, and they'll let out so much, but they know the one thing that would like send it over the edge, and they back away from that right at that moment. Because everybody's got something on everybody.
That's right. They got dirt on each other. Mutually assured destruction. Yep.
And they'll go all the way to the edge with it and then stop.
Yep. And he's like, oh, you got me, Bubba. Bubba, you got me. Fucking
I went to lunch with my dad the other day, and he's a moderate, like Republican. Like I think he voted for Trump I think he may have voted for Trump, then Biden, then Trump, or something like that. Anyway, he is going to say it to the very end. Like he's going to say, my dad will say constantly, "Oh, it's both sides. They both are doing it. They're both bad. They're both this. They're both that." And it's crazy to me. So like, we only got 30 minutes or whatever to have lunch together, and we could if we talked about this, we had 20 minutes to talk about this, and there's so much shit going on. I can't even cover everything. Like I can't get to any of the points. We get to one little thing, and it's mainly, well, they're all bad. So what are we gonna do? What are you gonna do?
We have to we have to be more discerning in the primaries. That's what we have to do. Because earlier, Lonnie was talking about them trashing Hillary is why we're here. I would argue that we're here because Hillary forced herself on us by using the DNC to push out somebody who actually was a populist candidate on the Democratic side, and that was Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, I would have voted for him in a second.
Yeah, I think he would have defeated Trump handily. I really believe.
You know something interesting? Here in Cincinnati, where we have Greg Glansman, he's a Democrat for our congressional representative, and he's being primaried by somebody from the left. And that's because Greg Landsman has ties to AIPAC.
And there you go. That's one of the big things. That's one of the big things people need to pay attention to. And of course, once they realize that, Israel's very clever, and they will find ways to they'll lie. They'll straight up lie. They'll just lie and say they're opposed to it. And then get in there and, things have changed.
Hey, Tim, I got to I'll holler at y'all later.
All right, thanks, Ben. I appreciate it. Yeah, we're about to shut down anyway. Oh, Bunny. Bunny has something to say. Go ahead, Bunny.
Yeah.
Real quick, I wanted to say thank you, Ben. I know you and I don't see eye to eye on a lot of things and have had words here and there, but I am so thankful as a CSA survivor that this was a red line for you, because it's not for many, and it breaks my heart and angers me that more people aren't like you and seeing how absolutely horrible this guy is.
Yeah,
thank
me
you.
too.
I appreciate that.
Me too.
Nice.
I'm a
I'm
survivor.
trying.
So yes, thank you.
And see, Bunny hardly ever comes up, so you should take that as an even bigger compliment.
I appreciate that. I really do. I mean, I'm trying. I'm learning. I am human, but I also if reading what we read, how can you dispute or how can you ignore that? It just doesn't make sense to me.
Well, and a lot of people, I think, instead of ignoring it, they're passing it off as fake news or saying it's all made up or it's all just because of this stupid, Trump derangement or whatever that they're trying to say is a thing now. But
TDS,
yeah. But so I wanted to make sure and thank you before you dropped out. So.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I will see y'all later.
Bye. All right. And aside from that, I just wanted to do a PSA. Sounds like he's actually getting ready to drop out of here. But if we could get him up to 100K before he does, that would be amazing. Yay! It doesn't take very much to just keep on tapping away. If you're on the panel, don't be tapping. But also make sure you're liking, or excuse me, I just said liking. It's fine. It's Thursday. Anyway, make sure you're sharing, reposting, copying link. It all does the same. And make sure you're benefit or contributing to his gift gallery and gift goals. But just wanted to do a little PSA for you.
Thank you, Bunny. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's been a minute.
Always.
And don't forget, guys, I do have Crash App and stuff. If you want to support the live that way, you can do that. The info is on my bio. And yeah, I end at 1, but, I'm probably going to shut down here in about 10 or 15 minutes anyway. I got to go get some stuff done. So it's timely that everybody's dropping out anyway. But I appreciate it. Lonnie says, real quick, Lib, my point about Hillary was them believing the misinformation on. Well, sure. Yeah. No, I got your point. I was just making a point that, this is the shenanigans that both parties do play into and do that has caused disillusionment with the people, and is why they were like, the first guy that came along said what people wanted somebody to say, was able to lie to them and con them into believing it, because the only other person that was saying those things really was Bernie, and they fucked him over. So I don't know. I'm sick of it, but no, I'm glad Ben said what he said. That's awesome. And that's another reason why I don't, I don't know. Some of them really piss me off, but most of the time I just, they're going to have to go through, what we would call deconstruction to figure it out. Hell, even Hillary called it re-education camps. Said, because it's a process. And for some of them, it's going to take a long time. What do you do?
I just want to say thank you for having me up.
Yeah.
And you have a great day, and I will see y'all if you're up tomorrow.
Thank you, Ferry. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll see. Techno, have you been up on the panel before? I don't recognize the name.
Yeah, S'more isn't S'more isn't Smurder.
Oh, okay. I recognize
I changed
that
my name. So
gotcha. No, you're good. You're good. I thought about changing my alt's name because people will send messages to my alt thinking that it's, my main, and I hardly ever check my messages on my alt, which I probably should. I just, got a lot of shit going on. The world is on fire, and I have a solo cup, and I'm trying to put it out with a solo cup, and it's just not. I can't keep up with it. You do what you can, though. I have to walk a mile to fill it up, and then a mile back, and then, it's a process. But I was going to say something earlier. This is why I didn't really latch on to every dumb and stupid thing that Trump does, pick your battles, because when you latch on to everything that Trump does, it gives, them that TDS claim. It's just anything he does is bad, and that's the only reason why you don't like him. When we latch on to just like somebody took a video, the presidential shark. Did you see that video going around?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh my fucking God. It was hilarious.
And then they're like, oh, you just hate him so much. You're so obsessed with a fart. They try to say.
Right. It's TDS. Right. And so, it's good to pick battles, because there's so many fucking terrible things he does to pick from. So I just, anymore, a lot of the word vomit that comes out of his face is, I just try to ignore sometimes because it's.
I can't believe there's even reporters going into the Oval Office.
Right.
I couldn't stand there. I'm like, how could you stand there and just being there is legitimizing him? Why? Don't even Like we should never see. Like we shouldn't see him very often. I get
Yeah,
he's the president of the United States, but I mean, he should be shamed.
He loves that
by the
attention.
media.
But I wonder if he ignored, if the media just ignored his ass, if he would do something extreme in order to put the news cycle back to him, like do something just really outlandish.
So they're doing it as a service to the American public.
They might very well be. Yeah. Because okay, Donald, everybody's looking at you. It's okay. Everybody's paying attention to you. Good boy, Donnie. I mean, sometimes it feels like that. He's like a child in an adult body, eating fucking McDonald's hamburgers constantly all day long. Please keep eating them, Donald. Please. Eat more. Eat more. Add some chicken nuggets to your diet. I hear it's good for your cholesterol. That's what Robert Kennedy told us anyway, because he knows everything. Anyway, well, guys, I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. I appreciate it. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Central Time. I won't be live on Saturday, however. I got to go do some shit, but I will be here tomorrow, 9 a.m. I appreciate you all. Thank you all for the support, and we'll see you then. Peace.